Chapter 5075. Is he suppressing the Dragon Prince again? This Lin Xian is really strong. The Dragon Prince's face turned extremely ugly. With a roar, dragon blood danced in the air and countless laws danced around him. It was extremely dazzling. True dragons, 7 steps. He performed another extremely powerful divine ability, and there were tens of thousands of dragon shadows circling under his feet. The explosive aura made the whole world tremble violently. Everyone exclaimed. They could feel their bodies being pushed back continuously. It was as though this stomp of theirs could turn an entire world into dust and ashes. Boom! With one step, the 9 heavens shattered, and a terrifying force came. The demon god's finger shook violently, and endless demonic runes flickered on it to resist. However, when he took the second step, a demon god's finger shattered. It turned into a monstrous demonic chi. Another step landed, and the remaining demon god sun fingers also cracked apart. The true dragon's 7 steps was so terrifying. Even the terrifying demon god's finger couldn't withstand this step. If he stepped on a sage, no one would be able to withstand it. Lin Xian had the 9 yang divine body, right? Unfortunately, the 9 yang divine body was still a little weaker than the crown prince's physique. He definitely couldn't withstand it. The people of the Dragon Palace sneered. Dragons had reverse scales. This Lin Xian was definitely going to die if he challenged the Dragon Prince. It's all over now. The Dragon Prince's 4th step caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. Several huge cracks that were tens of thousands of miles long appeared in the void and extended into the distance. The surrounding people trembled in fear. Fortunately, at this time, the top great saints joined forces and cast out a terrifying saint domain, enveloping the surrounding spectators. Only then did those people let out a sigh of relief. Otherwise, they would probably be turned into ashes under the step. Could Lin Xian withstand it? Bai Susu and the others were nervous. However, Hong Hanya said, "Don't worry, Lin Gongzi's strength is definitely beyond your imagination." Back then, he had seen the battle between Lin Xian and the Dead Soul's abyss with his own eyes. Now that Lin Xian's cultivation had broken through again, his strength was much stronger than before. Therefore, there was absolutely no problem in this battle. Lin Xian roared, and a large seal appeared in his hand. Demon God Seal. The true dragon's 7 steps collided with his opponent's attack. Both were martial monarch skills. The battle between the two was utterly terrifying. The stars in the sky fell, and the terrifying great Tao swept out in all directions like thunder. The spectators all sighed in admiration. Both of them were supreme youths, too terrifying. If such a person was born in another era, he would definitely become a great emperor. At the very least, he could ascend to the 9 heavens and sweep through the 10,000 worlds. But now, with the 2 of them clashing, one of them was bound to be injured. There were even people who exclaimed in admiration. This was a golden age. Other than these 2, there was also Kuan Pengzi. The Qilin clan and the Phoenix clan also had princes and princesses. In addition, Yi Wu Dao from the Yi clan and Gu Feng from the Gu clan had already cultivated the legacy of the great emperors. If they grew up, they would definitely not be weak. In the future, the competition would probably be between these young giants. They knew that such a person had the talent of a young great emperor. But who would be able to walk to the end? Perhaps the competition in this era would be 100 times more difficult than before. In the sky, the Dragon Prince roared and released the image of a dragon. 6 giant dragons rolled around him. That was the 6th transformation of the true dragon's 9 transformations. This was the strongest state in which he could use the mystique at the moment. After all, he was also a peak sage king. To be able to use it to this extent was already enough to shock those in the Sage King realm. Lin Xian's expression was also cold. The seal in his hand was extremely terrifying, as if it could turn the world upside down. Not only that, he waved his left hand. 6 path fists, phantoms of 6 worlds, revolved around him. it collided with the 6 giant dragons. The battle between the two was like a fierce battle between a dragon and a tiger. The dragon prince's face was cold. After fighting for so long, they were actually evenly matched. This was something he couldn't tolerate. With a roar, a dragon spear appeared in his hand and he gripped it tightly. With a light shake, hundreds of black holes were torn open in the void. This was a legendary sacred weapon that made countless experts envious. The Dragon Prince had such a divine weapon at such a young age. Even a clan only had a few of such items. The heritage of the monarch clan was really too strong. With the dragon spear in hand, it crushed the world. With one attack, it directly attacked Lin Xian's forehead. Lin Xian was still not afraid. With a wave of his hand, the Hellfire Dragon's sword appeared to meet the attack. With a clang, it collided with the dragon spear. The two collided, and the flames were extremely dazzling. With the two of them as the center, a shocking power swept out in all directions. The entire world turned into chaos. It wasn't the Great Destruction. The Crimson Dragon was also surprised. He thought that Lin Xian would use the Great Destruction Spear. He didn't expect that what he took out was a sword, and it was something he had never seen before. What a terrifying flame! What a cold aura! What sword was this? The soul sage beside him said that this was the Hellfire Dragon sword. It was a very terrifying, legendary sword in the underworld. He didn't expect that it would be obtained by Lin Gongzi. The Hellfire Dragon sword was also a legendary, sacred weapon. As soon as he appeared, he displayed powerful power, shocking countless people. Damn, kid, who are you fighting with? It hurts so much to hit me. The Hellfire Dragon's sword roared, its eyes staring forward. What a terrifying dragon aura. This guy is not simple. Kid, kill him quickly. I want his dragon blood. I want to use his dragon blood to reforge. No, don't break him. I want his physique. With his physique, I can be reborn. In the sword world, the Hellfire Dragon roared crazily. His eyes were red. This guy's voice was not concealed at all, and it spread between heaven and earth. The spectators were all dumbfounded. This sword was talking, and it dared to have designs on the Dragon Prince. God, what kind of sword was this? Lin Xian was also speechless. He snorted coldly and told himself to be more honest. The Dragon Prince was so angry that his whole body trembled. He felt the aura of a dragon from this sword. It was obvious that it belonged to the Dragon Clan, but the other party dared to have designs on him, and even wanted his dragon blood? And wanted to seize his physique? Stupid thing. I am the son of the Dragon Emperor. As a member of the Dragon Clan, why don't you submit to me? A cold voice sounded. The bloodline pressure on the Dragon Prince's body completely erupted. At this moment, everyone felt a suppression. It was a suppression that came from the depths of the bloodline. It was as if the other party was a high and mighty king, and they could only crawl outside. You are the Emperor's son? The Hellfire Dragon sword was shocked, and then it trembled with excitement. Great! I didn't expect that I would finally meet an Emperor's son. With your physique and bloodline, even if I can't become a great emperor, I can still unify the Dragon Clan in the universe. I want to be the new god of the Dragon Clan. The Hellfire Dragon roared crazily, and countless runes appeared on it. A powerful force exploded. Kid, I will cooperate with you. Quickly suppress him, and I will give you half of my dragon blood. Chapter 5076. The Hellfire Dragon sword's words were shocking. The faces of the people from the 1000 Dragon Dynasty turned extremely ugly. Damn it, they didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a treasure. It was really shocking. The Crimson Dragon laughed. This brother is arrogant, but I like him. The Dragon Prince roared crazily. He waved his dragon spear and swept it forward. At the same time, his left hand shone brightly. Terrifying dragon scales appeared on it. It seemed indestructible. As he waved his arm, flames appeared. It was the fire of the dragon. Below, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court all exclaimed when they saw this. Great, the Sky Dragon Arm! The Dragon Prince was going to use the Sky Dragon Arm. The others were terrified. Just by the name, they knew it was a terrifying technique. And its power was even more terrifying than before. It was obvious that it was also a Thearcha's superpower. They were envious. Every superpower in the Thearcha's inheritance was terrifying. Now that the Dragon Prince used it, he could kill countless experts in the intermediate Great Saint Realm. But now, all these superpowers couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. Could the current Heavenly Dragon Arm achieve victory? The Sky Dragon Arm was a super powerful superpower. Once used, it couldn't be used again in a short time. Therefore, the Dragon Prince wouldn't use it easily. Now he was furious. He didn't care about anything else and used the Sky Dragon Arm. The Sky Dragon Arm appeared and the earth cracked. The stars in the sky had become dim and lightless. He threw out a punch and charged forward. The Hellfire Dragon sword roared crazily. Damn it, kid, I blocked his dragon spear. You can take this punch yourself. He could feel how terrifying this punch was. If this punch landed on his body, he would probably be beaten until he lost his luster. Lin Xian furrowed his brows in the face of such a terrifying punch. This punch was too fast. It arrived in front of him in an instant. Kid, let's see how you block it. You want to compete with me in Thearcha's superpower? Can you beat me? The Dragon Prince sneered proudly. He had the complete Dragon Emperor's inheritance. In his opinion, Lin Xian was just lucky to get a few types of Earth God Emperor. But he couldn't compete with the real Thearcha's inheritance. Boom! Wherever the Heavenly Dragon Arm passed, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The place Lin Xian was at was completely pierced through and connected to the universe. Endless starlight sprinkled down. Was he dead? Everyone was shocked as they carefully sensed. However, in the next moment, they discovered that in the shattered starry sky, a terrifying demonic aura appeared. With a loud boom, an earth-shattering sound rang out. The Heavenly Dragon Arm was blocked. How could this be? The people of Dragon Palace could not believe it. The Heavenly Dragon Arm was indestructible and belonged to the category of fist arts that could burst out in an instant. If he wanted to condense a second punch, he would need to accumulate time and strength. Even if this fist art was to fight against a saint, it should still be a great threat. But now, was he still helpless against Invincible Lin? What did that guy use to block it? Everyone was puzzled. They looked forward and saw a black spear in Lin Xian's left hand, which radiated a terrifying aura. It was this thing that had blocked the Heavenly Dragon Arm. What a terrifying demonic aura! The Hellfire Dragon sword beside him also exclaimed. His grade isn't lower than mine. Kid, you still have such a treasure now. He was too surprised. This spear was the Great Destruction Spear, a treasure from the demonic realm that Lin Xian had obtained. It was also an inherited sacred weapon from the demonic realm, and its power was terrifying. Now, it was even more suitable for Lin Xian. Lin Xian was cultivating the demonic summoning scripture, the inheritance of a great emperor. It had a monstrous demonic aura. Together with the Great Destruction, its power was multiplied. Hence, he was able to block the punch just now. You think too highly of yourself. Do you think this is all I have? Lin Xian held the Hellfire Dragon sword in one hand and the Great Destruction spear in the other. He brandished the two sacred weapons and charged forward. The Dragon Prince roared, and the two of them fought again. This guy actually had two legendary divine weapons. Many people's eyes turned red. Holy weapons of the clan of the Ancients were treasures of the clan of the Ancients. Under normal circumstances, they would not be used easily. Even if they were used, it would be by the clan leader or the great elder. There were no young geniuses at all. Unless it was the young clan leader, he might be able to get one. But now, Lin Xian had two of them in his hands, and it seemed that he still had a trump card. This battle would be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. Some martial arts experts sighed. The others also knew, but they would not leave. Even if the battle lasted for a few months, they would still stay here and watch. After all, this was a battle between emperors, a battle between young paragons. At this moment, Sun Qitian turned around. He looked around and looked at Gu Feng, Yi Wudao, and the others. Then he looked at Kun Pengzi. I can feel your bloodline. You should be an emperor too, right? Do you dare to exchange a few moves with me? Countless people were shocked. This monkey was too crazy. First, he attacked the Dragon Prince, and now he wanted to challenge Kun Pengzi. The people of the heavenly sect were shocked. An elder said, "You are too presumptuous." Sun Qitian snorted and struck out with his staff, shattering the endless void. The heavenly sect elder's pupils also constricted. Previously, they were just watching the battle, but when this attack hit them, they were terrified. He was still terrified. This young man could definitely pose a threat to him. Was he really that old? He was angry and wanted to resist with all his strength. At this moment, a figure walked over. "Elder, you can retreat. I will fight him." Kun Pengzi waved his hand, and a terrifying yin and yang qi appeared, forming a protective barrier. It directly blocked the staff. In the next moment, he soared into the sky. "If you want to fight, then come. As you wish." "Very well. You are an interesting opponent." Sun Qitian soared into the sky without fear. The surrounding people were stunned. The sky in front of them had been shattered by Lin Xian and the Dragon Prince. A great battle was about to take place in the sky behind them. It was also a battle between emperors, and the two battles were going on at the same time. It was the first time these people had seen such a battle. Even the elders were watching such a battle for the first time. The savage wilderness patriarch laughed out loud. A battle between emperors? Very well. Inform the Taoist sect to activate the Peerless Array formation to protect the spectators. Let these 4 little guys fight until the sky and earth turn upside down. The order was passed down, and the Taoist sect activated the Peerless Array formation to protect the safety of the surrounding spectators. At the same time, they provided a battlefield for the 4 of them to fight without any scruples. The monkey and Kun Pengzi also fought. The monkey swept his iron staff in all directions. At the same time, golden flames floated out of his eyes, causing everyone's souls to be terrified. "Martial path, heavenly eye!" Many people exclaimed. This was a legendary peerless technique. They didn't expect the monkey to be able to use it. However, Kun Pengzi was still not afraid. A black and white aura flowed around his body. That was the origin aura of heaven and earth, yin and yang qi. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a god as he fought with the monkey. The 2 of them fought fiercely. Chapter 5077. The surrounding spectators looked up at the sky. The 2 battlefields were equally terrifying, and they couldn't see them at all. In the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. Countless people were shocked. In the past 5 days, they had witnessed countless ultimate techniques and divine abilities. But now they realized that the 4 of them were evenly matched. Sometimes one of them would be at a disadvantage. But soon a new ultimate technique would appear and turn the situation around. It would be very difficult for anyone to completely suppress the other. In the beginning, Lin Xian's 2 legendary sacred weapons caused the Dragon Prince to be at a disadvantage. At one point, he was even in danger. But soon, the Dragon Prince erupted with an extremely powerful might. He used several ultimate techniques and divine abilities, one after another. On the 3rd day, he even used the heavenly dragon arm again to turn the situation around. On the 5th day, no one could do anything to the other. The expressions of the people from the Dragon Palace became ugly. This was the Imperial Prince. How could that Lin Xian contend against him? The faces of the people from the 10,000 Dragons dynasty turned cold. Damn it, they guessed that Lin Xian didn't just obtain the great emperor's divine ability. Judging from the methods that he had displayed so far, It was very likely that he had obtained the complete great emperor's ancient scripture. Only the disciple of the great emperor could contend against the disciple. Damn it, this kid's luck was actually so good. The others also guessed it and were envious. How many great emperors had there been since ancient times? And each inheritance was incomparably mysterious. The main reason was that most of them were in the hands of the emperor clans, and no one dared to snatch them. No one could obtain them. Only a few great emperors didn't pass them down, and their families were lost in the various worlds. But it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find them. How many tens of thousands of years would there be a person with heaven-defying luck who obtained the inheritance of a great emperor? Now, was Lin Xian that person? The dragon prince naturally thought of this as well. He gritted his teeth. I didn't expect you to be so lucky. But so what? I'll let you see the imperial prince's true foundation now. He roared angrily, and endless dragon energy appeared in his bloodline. A dragon diagram interweaved in the sky, faintly discernible. A terrifying extreme Dao aura swept out in all directions. At this moment, the array formations in the Dao shook violently, as if they couldn't withstand it at all. Not good, it was an extreme weapon, the 10,000 dragons picture. Countless people were terrified, and they all retreated. Fantasy world ancestor frowned, and even savage desolation ancestor's expression sank. This guy even took out an extreme grade weapon. It was likely that even their Dao sect would find it hard to defend against this attack. No, he had to stop the battle. Fantasy world ancestor also had a serious expression. He was the patriarch of the Dao sect. If this attack landed, the Dao sect would definitely be severely injured. However, the elder of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty said, "Fellow Daoists, don't worry. The nest of 10,000 dragons will compensate you double for your losses." This was an excellent opportunity for the Dragon Prince to use the 10,000 dragons picture to kill Lin Xian. How could they allow others to stop them? No matter who it was, they would not be able to stop this battle. Countless people were terrified. Even Sun Qitian and Kuan Peng Zi stopped fighting. Their eyes were filled with fear. They each took a side and raised their heads to look into the distance. Kuan Peng Zi frowned. Had the Dragon Prince reached this level? Could it be that this Lin Xian was so terrifying that the Dragon Prince had no choice but to use his Dao weapon? Sun Qitian frowned even more. He was not strong enough, but he had to rely on his great emperor weapon. What a piece of trash. That dragon, if you dare to hurt my brother Lin, I will not forgive you. The savage wilderness ancestor also had a serious expression. He planned to save Lin Xian at the critical moment. He would not allow such a person to be killed by an extreme grade weapon. The Dragon Prince did not care about these people's threats at all. With his current strength, he could only use a portion of the 10,000 dragons picture's power, but it was enough. No one could resist the might of an extreme grade weapon. He raised one hand, and the 10,000 dragons picture spun slowly in his palm. Then he waved it forward. "Kid, it's over." This attack made the Dragon Prince's body shake. He felt that most of the power in his body had been used up. Even if he were to use an extreme weapon, it would be extremely difficult for him. However, its power was stronger than before. Countless extreme grade weapons shattered the starry sky and swept through everything. Lin Xian's demonic aura dimmed. Seeing this, the Hellfire Dragon soared, roared in horror. Damn, what is this kid waiting for? Hurry up and run. No matter how arrogant he was, he did not dare to resist a true extreme grade weapon. Lin Xian took a deep breath and put away the great destruction spear and the Hellfire Dragon sword. He stood there without any intention of running away. Was that kid scared out of his wits? Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Dragon Palace sneered. That was for sure. He probably had never seen the might of an extreme grade weapon. The elder of the 10,000 dragons dynasty snorted. Everything was over. After killing the other party, they would get the great emperor's inheritance. I wonder which great emperor this fellow obtained. Thinking of this, they became excited. If they got it, the 10,000 Dragons dynasty would have 2 great emperors' inheritances. They would probably surpass the Kuan-Pung race and the Qilin race. At that time, they would be the true rulers of all the worlds. The 10,000 dragons pictures dragon aura turned into 10,000 dragon shadows. They roared at the sky and came in front of Lin Xian. They enveloped Lin Xian. At the last moment, Lin Xian sighed. He waved his hand, and a black jar appeared in his hand, floating up and down in the air. Endless black runes appeared on it, and vortexes surged out one after another, enveloping his body. Boom! The 10,000 dragons descended and completely enveloped Lin Xian. Was everything over? Countless people were shocked and terrified. Sun Qitian, savage ancestor, and the others' expressions changed drastically. They wanted to attack, but they were stopped by the experts of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty. Get lost! Sun Qitian roared. He was about to attack recklessly, but suddenly there was a change in front. As the countless dragon silhouettes swept across the sky, a vortex rapidly appeared. At first, it was very small, but in the end, it swept across the world as if it was going to swallow everything. Everyone thought that it was a universe black hole created by the 10,000 Dragons picture, but later they realized that it was not, because this black vortex was quickly swallowing those dragon shadows. In an instant, half of the dragon shadows were swallowed. What was going on? What was this? Could it be that Lin Wuti was not dead? Countless people were shocked. They all looked around. The people of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty also narrowed their eyes. Kuan-Ping Zi's eyes shone with black and white light. On the other side, Yi Wudao, the Crimson Dragon, and the others sneered. Wanting to kill the other party with the 10,000 Dragons picture? What a joke! Unless the Great Emperor was resurrected. Or 10 peak great sages working together with the 10,000 Dragons picture might be possible. Now, it was impossible for the Dragon Prince alone, because Lin Xian also had an extreme weapon in his hand. The black vortex blocked the attack of the 10,000 Dragons picture, and Lin Xian walked out of the black vortex. He held the sky-devouring jar in his hand like a god. Chapter 5078. I've said it before, you can't kill me, even if you use the 10,000 Dragons diagram. Lin Xian's voice shocked countless people. Did Qin Wentian really block it? Did he really block the extreme weapon? Damn it, what was that? Countless experts stared at the black jar. This is... Kuan-Pung Zi's pupils constricted. He exclaimed, that was the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar? What? The extreme weapon, the heaven-devouring jar? Was it really that thing? That thing was indeed in his hands. Exclamations sounded one after another. The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Court were also shocked. Could it be that this kid had obtained the inheritance of the heaven-devouring Great Emperor? The heaven-devouring Great Emperor was extremely terrifying. He cultivated the devouring technique. It was known as devouring the heavens and earth. He could devour other geniuses to strengthen himself. This was an extremely terrifying Great Emperor. During the era when he rose to power, there were mountains of corpses. It could be said that there were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. The myriad worlds were beaten into despair. In the end, he reached the peak of the martial path and became a great emperor. It was said that in the later years of the heaven-devouring Great Emperor's life, the heaven-devouring Great Emperor wanted to take the next step and refine himself. He turned into a heaven-devouring jar. Later on, the heaven-devouring jar disappeared after being devoured and snatched by countless experts. It was said that it appeared in the hands of the heavenly court. However, with the destruction of the heavenly court, it disappeared again. Who would have thought that it would end up in Lin Xian's hands? Was it the complete heaven-devouring jar? The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Court looked over Kuan Peng Zi and the people of the Gu family also looked over. In the end, they realized that it was only half a heaven-devouring jar without a lid. This made them all heave a sigh of relief because they were all holding a complete extreme weapon. However, the expressions of the 10,000 Dragon Courts people were still extremely ugly. Even if it was half an extreme weapon, it still had the might of an extreme weapon. More importantly, the two of them were only young powerhouses. Even if they had extreme weapons, they would only be able to use a portion of their strength. Therefore, there wasn't much difference between a complete one and half one, unless they really used their trump cards and used endless resources to revive an extreme weapon. At that time, the 10,000 Dragons diagram would be able to completely crush the heaven-devouring jar. But now, they weren't prepared for that. Half of the heaven-devouring jar. The Dragon Prince frowned. He was unconvinced. With a furious roar, he activated the 10,000 Dragons diagram again. With a wave of his hand, 20 storage rings appeared in the air. They all split open, and the power within them was given to the 10,000 Dragons diagram. After the 10,000 dragons obtained the power, they burst forth and crushed forward. Other than my own strength, I also have unlimited resources. The storage ring in my hand. Every single one of them could make a saint go crazy. Do you have any? The Dragon Prince sneered. I can continuously activate the myriad dragon diagram. What about you? You don't have the extra power to control the heaven-devouring jar. So in the end, I won this battle. Don't worry. When you die, the sky-devouring jar, your weapon, and your great emperor's inheritance will all be mine. Our dragon clan will make good use of it. You can go to hell in peace. After using the power of 20 storage rings, the power of the 10,000 dragons diagram was simply too terrifying. Everyone felt despair. Lin Xian had a strange expression on his face. Competing with him in terms of resources? Humph! If this was the 10,000 dragon dynasty, then he would indeed be inferior to the other party. However, they were currently in the Dao sect, and the other party was unable to borrow the strength of his family. So what if the other party had a lot of storage rings? Could they be compared to his sword world? Opening the sword world, Su Qin quickly used the power of the Force Spirit Valley. With the support of the power, the heaven-devouring jar erupted with an even more dazzling light. The black vortex swept through the 9 heavens, swallowing the heavens and the earth. The light of the 10,000 dragons diagram was swallowed up, and the black vortex even appeared near the Dragon Prince. It wanted to swallow him as well. Damn it! The Dragon Emperor's roar and the roar of 10,000 dragons formed a powerful armor to block it. He really couldn't imagine that the other party actually had so many resources to be able to continuously use the heaven-devouring jar. In that case, it would be difficult to kill the other party this time. It could be said that it was almost impossible. Lin Xian used the heaven-devouring jar to fight against the 10,000 dragons diagram, and then he took out the great dragon sword spirit. He once again absorbed the power of the sword world. He knew that although he had the sword world, he couldn't use it indefinitely. Therefore, this time he had to kill him in one strike. With a sway of his body, he used Shadowless Heaven's net and instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind the Dragon Prince. There was a terrifying sword energy on his body that blocked the might of the extreme Tao. Then he waved the great dragon sword spirit and struck out with the third sword of the Azura sword technique. The Azura sword technique was originally a great emperor's ability, and it was an assassination technique. Coupled with the power of the great dragon sword and the sword world, this sword strike was terrifying to the extreme. The Dragon Prince suddenly turned his head. He discovered that a sword light had slashed through his glabella, wanting to split his body in half. No, he was shocked. Damn it, what kind of aura was this? Why could it threaten him as well, other than the heaven-devouring jar? Did the other party have any other extreme Tao weapons? He shouted angrily, wanting to recall the 10,000 dragons diagram to block it. At the same time, his body flew into the sky. However, he was still a step too late. The heaven-devouring jar resisted the 10,000 dragons diagram. Although the Dragon Prince's speed was fast, this sword strike was even faster. After this sword strike, a thunderous sound rang out between heaven and earth. Dragon blood rained down, and each drop of dragon blood carried with it an endless amount of dragon shadows. It pierced through heaven and earth. Many cracks also appeared on the Dao Sex array formation below. They couldn't withstand the power of the dragon blood at all. This was the blood of the Emperor, which contained the bloodline of the great Emperor. Could it be that the Dragon Prince was injured? How was this possible? The people of the Dragon Palace roared crazily. They didn't believe it at all. Kuan Pingzi, the Yi family, and the Gu family also frowned. As members of the Emperor clan, they naturally knew how terrifying a prince was. Not to mention that the Dragon Prince had already taken out the 10,000 dragons diagram. They couldn't understand how he was still injured. Many people looked at the sky nervously. In the next moment, their pupils constricted. The elders of the 10,000 dragons dynasty soared into the sky. They roared crazily. However, they couldn't get close. The might of the extreme Tao in the sky was too terrifying. Their eyes turned red. The fantasy world patriarch's scalp went numb in disbelief. As a big shot of the Tao sect, he had experienced many things. It could be said that he had seen all kinds of life and death, but he still couldn't believe it, because he discovered that the Dragon Prince's body had been split open. That sword strike had almost split him in half. How was this possible? The Dragon Prince was actually severely injured. How did he do it? The Dragon Prince's eyes were also red. Killing intent surged from his body. In the next moment, the 10,000 dragons diagram was summoned back by him and enveloped his body. His broken body also slowly healed, but there seemed to be a force preventing his wounds from healing. He was dumbfounded and instantly understood. Damn it, you actually have it. Chapter 5079. What did he have? Countless people were curious. However, the Dragon Prince didn't say anything else. He gritted his teeth and roared, "You actually have that thing." He was too shocked. That sword strike just now had brought about a fatal threat to him. However, he was the Emperor's son after all, and his bloodline was extremely powerful. At the critical moment, he still dodged the fatal attack. This sword had split his body open. However, it couldn't take his life. However, this feeling of injury still drove him crazy. The other party actually dared to hurt him. He couldn't bear it. However, he also realized what the other party had used to hurt him. A sword. The Dragon Shadow sword carried an indestructible power. As a member of the dragon race, he naturally knew that this was the great dragon sword of the 5 swords in the world. However, only the sword soul was left, and it was still incomparably sharp. The great dragon sword was the treasure that the dragon race had been searching for. This was the sword of attack in the world. It was something that belonged to the dragon race. However, this thing was too mysterious. It was even harder to find than an apex weapon. He didn't expect that it would be in the other party's hands. He found it hard to believe. The other party's fortuitous encounter was too good. Half an apex weapon and the great dragon sword soul were enough to block the real 10,000 dragons portrait. Moreover, without fully recovering, he was indeed suppressed by the other party. Damn it! He roared angrily. He almost shouted just now. However, he stopped it abruptly. The great dragon sword soul was something that everyone wanted. Once he said it, not only him, but Kuan Pengzi, the Gu family, and even the other families would want it. Even the Phoenix race and the Qilin race would come to snatch it. In that case, the situation would become incomparably troublesome. Therefore, the Dragon Prince didn't say it out loud. He planned to immediately mobilize the power of his family to search for it after returning. He had to kill this kid and obtain all the treasures on him. Damn it, what exactly was that thing? The others, however, were frantic with anxiety. They didn't see it clearly, and the Dragon Prince didn't say anything. Other than the Dragon Prince and Lin Xian himself, no one else knew. As expected, other than the Crimson Dragon, Yu Wu Dao, and the others knew. Kun Peng Zi, Fantasy World Ancestor, and the others also frowned. They were all guessing, but they had no evidence. The people of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty were also shocked. What did the Dragon Prince discover? It was so shocking. Also, what was that thing? Could it hurt a crown prince? Lin Xian also sighed. That was indeed a good opportunity. His trump card was beyond his opponent's expectations. He launched a sure-kill attack, but his opponent still dodged it. At the same time, he also knew that the other party was not any weaker than him. If someone wanted to kill him, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It was probably the same if he wanted to kill the other party. In this battle, he could only injure the other party and make a name for himself. Therefore, in order to truly kill a crown prince, one would need to make meticulous arrangements. In fact, they might even need to mobilize a lot of forces. It seemed that he had to make a good plan in the future. He would make the Dragon Prince disappear. He did not attack again. The heaven-swallowing jar returned to his side and floated up and down. The great dragon sword spirit had already returned to his body, and the sword world had also been closed by him. He was like a sword god standing above the 9 heavens. On the other side, the Dragon Prince was covered by the 10,000 dragons picture, and the extreme Dao aura was resisting the great dragon sword soul. His expression was extremely cold. The people from the 10,000 dragon court also rose into the air. She came to his side and protected him. "Prince, are you all right?" Just now, they were extremely nervous. If anything happened to the Dragon Prince here, even if they died 100 times, it would not be enough to atone for their sins. "It's nothing. I was careless and got injured. However, it's impossible for him to kill me. Let's go." The Dragon Prince turned around and left. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court followed closely behind, and a cold voice sounded. "Lin Xian, this battle is not over. The next time I see you, I will definitely destroy your soul." "With just you?" Lin Xian sneered. "This time you escaped with injuries. Next time, I will definitely kill you with my sword." The Dragon Prince was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He flew even faster. Soon he disappeared into the sky. Countless people were shocked. Did the Dragon Prince fail? Although they did not dare to make a final conclusion, the Dragon Prince was indeed at a disadvantage in this battle. He was injured by Lin Xian. The difference between the two was obvious. They sucked in a breath of cold air. That was a crown prince. Moreover, he was the crown prince of the dragon race. His strength and bloodline were terrifying. He definitely stood at the peak of the universe. But he was still injured. How terrifying was Lin Xian? They did not dare to imagine. Lin Xian looked around and said coldly, "Now that I have been crowned king, is there anyone who is not convinced?" The world was silent. Even the emperor race members were silent. No one was convinced. Lin Xian had already used his strength to prove it. "Great." The savage wilderness ancestor laughed. "I was right about you." Lin Xian landed and said, "Thank you for your support, senior." Then the group returned. The fantasy world ancestor looked at Lin Xian's back with a complicated expression. The stars in his eyes were extinguished. This time, he had chosen to support the Dragon Prince. But the Dragon Prince had actually lost. Did he make the wrong choice? He shook his head. Although he had lost, the Dragon Prince had not truly lost. The Dragon Prince's trump cards and strength would soon be restored. The true battle of the Emperor's Road had just begun. Among these people, only one could reach the end. He believed that the Dragon Prince had a higher chance of winning. But what exactly did the other party use in the end? He still did not understand. "Let's go too." Kun Pingzi also left. The last attack was also a threat to him. He had to increase his strength. Originally, he thought that his opponents were only a few emperors' sons. The others were nothing to be afraid of. Now, he understood that the universe was vast and had endless secrets and ancient inheritances. Even if he was not an emperor's son, as long as he had enough talent and luck, he would be able to compete with them. He might even surpass them. After all, those who had become great emperors in the past had all risen from the dust. They could not be careless. It seemed that it was time to cultivate and break through to the great sage realm. Now that these top geniuses were at the peak of the sage realm, who could be the first to break through to the great sage realm? Then, who would be able to surpass the others and even take advantage of this opportunity to kill those powerful enemies? Therefore, he had to be the first to break through to the great sage realm. Let's go too. Yi Wudao turned around and left. The people from the Gu family also left. The other remote antiquity families also left. Some were excited, some were amazed, some were excited, and some were in despair. The people from the Purple Mansion realm had extremely solemn expressions. The strength that Lin Xian had displayed now made them feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Once such a person completely matured, would they be able to fight against him in the future? It seemed like they had to contact the 10,000 Dragon Court. Both sides had joined forces to kill each other as soon as possible. The Blue Clan, on the other hand, was full of despair. Previously, they had suppressed the Divine Union to curry favor with the 10,000 Dragon Court. They had even wanted to kill Lin Xian. Now, Lin Xian had been crowned king and injured the Dragon Prince. He was standing at the peak. Would their family be able to withstand that kind of fury? Chapter 5080. Lin Xian's coronation shocked and terrified many people. Some families were ready to take action. However, the Divine Union was very excited when they returned. They weren't the only ones. The sects and families that supported the Divine Union were also very excited. Lin Xian's current performance had exceeded their expectations. If Lin Xian could take another step forward and reach the sage stage one day, then these families would undergo an earth-shattering change. They would stand at the peak within 10,000 years. How could they not be excited? News of what had happened here spread quickly throughout the ancient city. Not only that, but it also spread to other cities and regions with the Holy Abyss ancient city as the center. In an instant, the world was shocked. The names of Lin Wudi and the Mad God once again resounded throughout the 9 heavens. Lin Xian was invited to the core region by the savage wilderness patriarch as a guest. He chatted with the old man for a long time. The old man said that he would always support them and even support Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon to avenge Long Guang. Lin Xian said, "Senior, don't worry. One day, I will personally kill the Dragon Prince and avenge Long Guang." He just needed to plan well. The Dragon Prince could already use the 10,000 dragons portrait now. With an extreme weapon, it wouldn't be easy to kill the other party. The savage wilderness patriarch said, "There will always be a chance. You don't have to think about anything now. The most important thing is to raise your cultivation base as much as possible. Strive to enter the great sage stage as soon as possible. Now you, the Dragon Prince, Kuin Pingzi, Yi Wudao Gufeng, and the others are all at the peak of the sage ruler stage. One more step and you will become a great sage. If anyone could enter first, they would seize the opportunity and have the strength to surpass the others. Break through to the great sage stage." Lin Xian took a deep breath. He had to hurry. If he was the first to break through to the great sage stage, his chances of killing the Dragon Prince would be much higher. However, if the other party broke through first, they would be in danger. Lin Xian nodded. "Senior, don't worry. I will do my best to break through during this period." The savage wilderness great sage said, "You have to be careful of the 10,000 dragons' court. Their Dragon Prince has been defeated, so they definitely won't take this lying down. Furthermore, I believe that the great emperor's inheritance that you displayed also had many weapons and trump cards. He had already been targeted by many people. Once you leave the Tao sect and the sacred Abyss Tower, these people will act without restraint. At that time, it wouldn't just be the younger generation. Countless experts of the older generation would make a move. Great sage lords and even great sage lords would make a move. They were all existences that stood at the pinnacle. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He naturally knew how terrifying those people were. Back then, a single peak great sage had been enough to scare the monkey away. If a few more came, they might really be able to kill them. Then, should he not go out during this period of time and cultivate in silence? At their level, it was impossible to cultivate in silence. I have an idea. Although it's dangerous, it's much safer than staying here. Senior, please speak. You should know that the entire buried Emperor Star is divided into many regions. They are called the 4 Seas and 8 Desolaces. The continent we are on is called Yao Guang Continent. There are other continents besides this one. Now, I'll send you to another continent to train. Although there are many people in that place who have heard of your name, not many have actually seen you. It will be much safer for you to train outside. Leave this place temporarily? Lin Xian thought for a moment and nodded. All right. In any case, he had already fought with the Dragon Prince. It could be said that they were evenly matched. It wouldn't be easy to kill the other party here. It was better to go to another place to increase his strength and then come back to kill the other party. This way he could avoid danger. He said, Senior, please give me a few days to prepare. This time, I want to bring a few friends with me. No problem. Go ahead and prepare. When you are ready, take the token and come to me. Savage Ancestor gave Lin Xian a token. Lin Xian left and went to prepare. On the other continent was a land of flames. The flames here were extremely terrifying. Even great sages would be terrified here. At this moment, there were several god statues in the flames. They were formed by the law of fire. They were even more terrifying than the flames. A figure was sitting cross-legged beneath these flaming statues. It was a man with short, fiery red hair. He wore a fiery robe, and his face was extremely handsome. At this moment, there were countless Qilin phantoms circling around his hand. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked over from afar. This middle-aged man was wearing battle armor and carrying a battle saber on his back. His appearance was like the descent of a fire god. Countless black cracks appeared in the surrounding void. It couldn't withstand his power at all. His speed was very fast. In a few steps, he arrived in front of him. Then he stopped. Qilin Sun, there is news from Holy Abyss Ancient City. The armored man said in a deep voice. If there were other people here, they would be shocked. Because this man was none other than the emperor of the Qilin clan, the Qilin Sun. And this armored man was a powerhouse of the Qilin clan. His strength was very terrifying. Hearing the armored man's words, the Qilin Sun opened his eyes. There were divine flames in his eyes. He asked, How is it? Has the dragon prince been crowned? The armored man nodded. The son of the dragon emperor had been crowned. The Qilin Sun sighed. What a pity. I used poison to plot against him. I thought that I could seriously injure him. Even his cultivation was destroyed. He actually launched an extreme Tao war against the spirit realm and took away the tree of life. Not only did his cultivation recover, but he also became a king. But it was fine. At least he was delayed by more than 10 years. It could be considered a result. The Qilin Sun nodded. Back then, the Qilin clan was the one who poisoned the Dragon Prince. However, the armored man in front of him looked very serious. It seemed that there was something else. The Qilin Sun asked, What's wrong? Is there anything else? The armored man said, It's not just the Dragon Prince's coronation. There is something more important. There was news from Holy Abyss Ancient City that when the Dragon Prince was crowned, another person reached the top of the Holy Abyss Tower. He was also crowned. Another person was crowned a king? Who was it? This time, the Qilin's son was very surprised. Was there another emperor's son? The armored man shook his head. It was not the emperor's son. The other party had obtained the great emperor's inheritance and half an extreme Dao weapon. It could be said that he was a top genius, a young powerhouse. The Qilin's son was surprised. Then he asked, "What's his name?" Lin Wudi, Mad God. These were his two titles. He was so arrogant that he dared to use the word invincible. How could the dragon prince tolerate it? The Qilin's son, as the emperor's son, naturally knew that every emperor's son was arrogant and unruly. When the dragon prince was crowned, someone else was also crowned. This was a challenge to the dragon prince. The dragon prince would never allow it. The dragon prince was naturally angry. A shocking battle broke out between the two. In the end, they even used an extreme Dao weapon. However, in the end, the dragon prince was injured and his body was almost split open. What? The Qilin's son was stunned. Even if Lin Wudi was a young powerhouse, if he really wanted to compete with the dragon prince, he still favored the dragon prince. However, the result was beyond his expectations. He said, "How did that guy do it? Is the news true?" Chapter 5081. The news was absolutely true and had spread throughout the entire Holy Abyss ancient city. As for how he did it, no one knew. Apart from Lin Wudi and the Dragon Prince, no one else knew. A mysterious trump card? The Qilin's son narrowed his eyes. Interesting. He hoped to fight with this guy one day. Is there anything else? The Qilin's son asked. The armored man said, yes. Apart from Lin Wudi, another young expert has appeared. First, he fought with the Dragon Prince, then with Kunping's son. Neither of them was at a disadvantage. Some people speculated that he was also an emperor. Who was this guy? The Qilin's son frowned. The situation in Holy Abyss ancient city had changed too quickly. Two young giants had appeared. I don't know. It said that the other party is a monkey who can use an iron rod to sweep across the land. He's very strong and has the martial Dao Heavenly Eye. A monkey. The Qilin's son's eyes lit up as he recalled carefully. He shook his head. I don't know. Investigate the monkey's situation. If necessary, use the power of the entire family. He had to figure out its origin. At the very least, he had to know which emperor his father was. The Qilin's son was born in the era when his father, the Qilin emperor, dominated the world. After that, he was sealed and had been in a deep slumber until now. Therefore, he had no idea what had happened in the tens of thousands of years. He could only investigate. However, as long as it was an emperor, he should be able to find out. It seemed that apart from his old rivals, a new young giant had appeared. He had to hurry up. He had to prepare well. Next was the battle of the Supremes. Who? Who could become the #1 young Supremes? Who would have a high chance of becoming an emperor? Every emperor and princess was an enemy. Sooner or later, they would have to fight. Once they met, he would not hold back. Dao sect. Lin Xian returned to the divine union. Everyone cheered. During this time, the monkey and Yi Wudao also came to see him. The group drank and chatted. The monkey and Yi Wudao were familiar with each other. Both of them also tested each other. The monkey said, Brother Yi, you're also very strong, with a strong physique and emperor scriptures. You'll also be a young Supremes in the future. Brother Monkey, you're the powerful one. Yi Wudao also looked forward to it. The monkey's strength and arrogance, as well as the fact that he dared to attack the two emperors, shocked and admired him. On the other side, by Susu and Fu Hongya, the Crimson Dragon and the others looked at Lin Xian. By Susu, speaking of which, are you really going to leave this place? Lin Xian nodded. Last time, the Dragon Prince was able to attack Longguang, and this time he can attack me. Therefore, I need to leave for a while. Once I break through to the Great Sage level, I'll return. Ben Huang also had to hurry up and cultivate. The dark red dragon also clenched its dragon claws. I have to break through as soon as possible and beat up that dragon prince. Little martial uncle will go with you. Fu Hongya, Lu Yuan, and the others asked. Lin Xian shook his head. Stay here and cultivate well. The Divine Union needs someone to preside over it. Wushuang City has just been re-established, so all of this needs to be presided over. Susu, I'll leave the Divine Union to you. Hongyi, Lu Yuan, the two of you will continue to manage Peerless City. Don't worry, Bai Susu said. Her father was Elder Bai. If she stayed here, she would be protected by Elder Bai. No one would dare to touch her. As for the Crimson Dragon and the Toad, they would leave with Lin Xian. Brother Ho, I'm preparing to leave. What about you? Are you coming with me? Monkey said. No, I still have many places I want to explore. Brother Lin, we'll meet again eventually. At that time, we'll see who's stronger. Lin Xian smiled. He said, but before that, I have something to do. Brother Monkey, are you interested? Sun Qitian was surprised. Let's hear it. Lin Xian said, other than the Dragon Prince, there's another genius in the Dragon Palace, Long Ao. Although I destroyed his Dao heart previously, he didn't die. I'm guessing that the incident with Long Guang was also caused by the Dragon Sea tribe. Therefore, I don't intend to let him go. I'm going to kill him. Sun Qitian was interested. Count me in. Yu Wudao said, I want to take a look too. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad also jumped over. Good thing, let's go too. Lin Xian said, me, Brother Monkey, and Wudao, the three of us will be enough. Just wait for the good news. All right, damn it. Ben Huang will definitely catch up to you. The Crimson Dragon was still a little inferior to Lin Xian, Monkey, and the others. However, with the Crimson Dragon's talent and bloodline, he would become a big shot sooner or later. It seemed that he had to use that power. The Crimson Dragon's eyes shone brightly. He turned around and entered the palace in the distance. Who knew what he was busy with? Lin Xian, Monkey, and Wudao. The three of them were ready to move. Lin Xian took out the Void Beast. At this moment, the Void Beast was much more powerful than it had been before, because Lin Xian directly placed him in the Sword World for him to cultivate. The Void Beast was like a treasure in the Sword World. The power of the Sword World provided him, and he had already broken through to become a great sage. At this moment, his void power was not weaker than the experts of the Gu family. Lin Xian had already sent people to keep an eye on Long Ao's whereabouts. Moreover, he knew that after the people of the Dragon Sea clan came to the ancient city, they temporarily stayed in the Blue clan. In other words, Long Ao was also in the territory of the Blue clan. Thinking of this, he patted the Void Beast. Let's go to the Blue clan. The Void Beast's body swayed, and a terrifying spatial power enveloped the three of them. Then it disappeared. Blue clan. At this moment, they were entertaining a group of important guests. They were the experts from the Dragon Sea. The patriarch of the Blue clan personally accompanied them. The Dragon Sea Lord also came. His expression was not very good. The Dragon Prince's injury made his heart heavy. More importantly, his son Long Ao's Dao heart had been destroyed. Now he was almost a cripple. However, his cultivation was not crippled. As long as he could rebuild his Dao heart, he would immediately become a top expert. So there was still hope. Lin Wudi. Thinking of this name, the Dragon Sea Lord's expression turned ugly. It was the other party who destroyed Long Ao's Dao heart. He stood up and said with a few elders of the Dragon Sea, we will make a trip to the 1,000 Dragon Court and see if there is any way. Long Ao will temporarily stay in the Blue clan. I hope you can take good care of him. Fellow Daoist Long, don't worry. Young Master Long Ao is here. I guarantee that nothing will happen to him. If anything happens to him, you can ask me. The patriarch of the Blue clan said confidently. What could go wrong in their headquarters? And now no one would dare to make a move, right? All right, you all will also protect Long Ao. After he finished saying those words, the dragon sea master left with the two elders. The rest of the dragon tribe experts of Dragon Sea stayed behind. The patriarch of the Blue Clan continued to entertain them warmly. Although the Blue Clan was strong, they were still much weaker than the Dragon Clan. The relationship between the Dragon Sea and the Thousand Dragon Court was even more unusual. Pleasing the people of Dragon Sea was equivalent to pleasing the Thousand Dragon Court. The patriarch of the Blue Clan naturally understood this logic. He said, "Don't worry, I know that young Master Long-Ao was injured by Linwoody. Our Blue Clan will send people to keep an eye on him. As long as he comes out or leaves the ancient city, we will inform you immediately." Chapter 5082. Elder Long-E, please take a seat. The patriarch of the Blue Clan invited a middle-aged man over. This was an elder of the Dragon Sea clan. His strength and status were extremely terrifying. Elder Long-E sat down, and the others in the hall also took their seats. The patriarch of the Blue Clan said, "Elder Long-E, don't worry. We've already sent people to investigate. As long as that Lin Xian comes out, we'll know." Long-E snorted coldly. That Lin Woody was too arrogant. No matter how strong he was only a young man. How could he be an enemy of the entire Dragon Sea? Not to mention, he had offended the Dragon Prince this time. Just watch, he was dead meat. This guy didn't know how to hide his strength. Even if he had the strength and talent of the Emperor, he had to hide it. He was different from the Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince had the Emperor clan as his backing. And what did that guy have? He didn't have any powerful family behind him. Now that he had displayed such terrifying strength, he could only be killed. If I were him, I would hide and wait until I reached the peak of the Great Sage Realm before coming out. At that time, who would be my opponent in the 4 seas and 8 wastelands? That's right. How could that Lin Woody be compared to you, Elder Long-E? The surrounding members of the Blue Clan all laughed, because the other party was right. With strength and background, you could be arrogant. But with strength and no background, no matter how arrogant you were, you would probably be slapped to death immediately. No one would let such a person with such potential grow up. Long-E said coldly, "If he dares to appear, I can slap him to death. I will let him know the consequences of offending our Dragon Sea clan. That's because no matter how strong he is no match for us." The surrounding Dragon Clan experts also snorted coldly. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. "Who wants to slap me to death?" At this moment, a piercingly cold voice was heard. The people in the hall were stunned. While these people were gathering and chatting, Lin Xian and the other two had already arrived. They directly locked onto the place where Long-Ao was. The place was heavily guarded. But how could it stop these 3 people? The Void Beast was directly teleported into the hall. There were few people around Long-Ao who were carefully taking care of him. Suddenly they turned their heads. Who was it? Long-Ao also raised his head. His eyes were still incomparably gray. It was clear that his Dao heart had yet to recover. However, as he was once an expert, his instincts told him that there was danger. An iron cudgel fell and smashed the few dragon race powerhouses who were taking care of them into a bloody mist. Meanwhile, Leaf Dowdenier waved his hand, unleashing boundless light. They formed a formation that enveloped the world. Lin Xian and the other 2 walked out. "It's you." When Long-Ao saw this, his body trembled. "Damn it, how dare you come here? Do you want to die? Men, kill him." He roared crazily. It was this brat in front of him who had caused him to become like this. He had to kill him. However, Leaf Dowdenier shook his head and said, "It's useless. You can't make any sound." "Damn it. Leaf Dowdenier, are you going to help this brat? Do you know the consequences of offending me? The Dragon Prince has been crowned. If you offend me, the Dragon Prince will not let you go." Hearing this, Leaf Dowdenier snorted coldly. Lin Xian also had a strange expression. He said, Didn't anyone tell you about the coronation? What could happen during the coronation? The Dragon Prince would definitely be crowned. Long Ao roared crazily. Sun Chi-Tien snorted coldly. What an idiot. Is it the coronation? I fought with the Dragon Prince, and the other party didn't do anything. Isn't he unable to do anything to me? Hearing this, Long Ao went crazy. The monkey in front of him could compete with the Dragon Prince? Moreover, it sounded like the two sides were evenly matched. What a joke! The Dragon Prince was the Emperor's son. What was this monkey? Could he be compared to the Emperor's son? The other party was crazy. Sun Chi-Tien snorted coldly. Not to mention me. Brother Lin is even more amazing. He fought with the Dragon Prince and directly injured him. What did you say? Long Ao really went crazy this time. Lin Xian injured the Dragon Prince? Damn it, how was that possible? No one told him. He didn't believe it at all. These people were liars. They were all here to break his Dao heart. In fact, it was normal for no one to tell him. The previous Long Ao's confidence collapsed because of the blow and setback. If he was told that Lin Xian defeated the Dragon Prince, then the other party's confidence would probably never recover for the rest of his life. Therefore, the Dragon Sea Lord sealed the news and didn't allow anyone to tell Long Ao. Now that Long Ao heard it, he went crazy. Lin Xian looked at the other party and shook his head coldly. You are really miserable. What's the difference between you and trash now? Let me tell you another piece of news. The current me has also been crowned as a king. My current status and strength are not weaker than the Dragon Prince at all. Do you still dare to be my enemy? Long Ao's body trembled as he roared crazily. Impossible. Liar, you just want to destroy my Dao heart. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Ignorant ant, I'll let you feel it. It released a trace of aura, and at the same time there was a terrifying light in its eyes. He looked forward. At this moment, Long Ao's body trembled. He realized that the person he was facing didn't seem to be a young man. Instead, it was a great emperor, a high and mighty god. This was impossible. He was terrified. He felt this feeling from the Dragon Prince before. It made him despair and unable to resist. Now he felt it from the other party again. Could it be that this kid was really on par with the Dragon Prince? No, he was crazy. At this moment, Sun Chi-Tien also walked out, and his body also emitted a pressure. Long Ao vomited a mouthful of blood. This force made him unable to resist, and he could only look up. This monkey also had the aura of an emperor. Damn these two young supremes. Even Yi Wudao's aura had become terrifying, far surpassing his. Long Ao was completely crazy. Previously, he didn't take Yi Wudao and Lin Xian seriously, but now the gap between the two was too big. He couldn't accept it at all. Puff! I don't believe it. He vomited a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. The light in his eyes. Before it disappeared, he was angered to death. Was he dead? Lin Xian was also stunned. This guy was really narrow-minded. He could even be angered to death. Sun Chi-Tien also sensed it and shook his head. His soul had disappeared. What a waste! Yi Wudao also frowned. Long Ao had always been smooth sailing and had never experienced a big setback. But now he had taken the other party's life. Well, it saved us the trouble of doing it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the power of reincarnation enveloped the other party's body. Then he was taken away. With a flash, the void beast appeared, enveloping them and teleporting them away. At the same time, at the place where the Dragon Sea clan worshipped soul jade tablets. In front of them, a soul jade tablet cracked and shattered. The faces of the Dragon Sea clan changed. What was going on? When they looked carefully, they gasped. It turned out that Long Ao's soul jade tablet had shattered. Chapter 5083. Such a change caused the people of the Dragon Sea clan to be stunned. Their faces changed as they quickly informed the Dragon Sea clan master. These people moved quickly. On the other side, the people in the Blue Clan's main hall were stunned. Who was it? A series of angry shouts rang out. Then, an earth-shattering soul power charged forward. The surrounding void kept shattering, especially the experts of the Dragon Clan. A terrifying aura surged out of them. The people of the Blue Clan were shocked because the one who attacked wasn't Long E, but a young man beside him. They didn't expect the Dragon Clan to have such a terrifying expert. The genius of the Dragon Clan said coldly, "Come out, or I'll tear you to pieces." In the next moment, a sneer rang out in the void. "You don't even know where I am, and you dare to say such big words?" The void cracked open, and a few figures walked out. "It's you." The surrounding people were stunned when they saw a familiar figure. Lin Xian, Lin Wudi. "Damn it, how dare you come here? What do you want?" A series of angry shouts rang out. The people of the Blue Clan were shocked. They didn't expect the other party to come without them knowing. Previously, they had boasted to the Dragon Sea Clan that as long as the other party came out of the sect, they would be the first to know. Now, the other party's actions had slapped them in the face. The young man of the Dragon Clan also had a cold look in his eyes. She looked young because of the pill she had taken and the secret technique she had cultivated. His real age wasn't young anymore. Although he couldn't be considered as an elder, he could be considered as a middle-aged man. According to his identity, he was Long Ao's uncle. At this moment, he looked at Lin Xian in shock. Was this the person who had been crowned as a king? An existence that could fight against the Dragon Emperor? The power of the other party seemed to have frozen his dragon blood. Too strong. However, his eyes were filled with killing intent. He wasn't from the younger generation, and his strength couldn't be measured by the younger generation. Therefore, he was confident that he could defeat the other party and even suppress him. If he could do it, the Dragon Prince would definitely thank him. Thinking of this, his lips curled into a smile. "Lin Wudi, there was a path to heaven, but you didn't take it. Now, kneel and accept your death." As he spoke, he sent a palm strike over. This strike shook heaven and earth, turning into a great mountain that descended from the sky. There was a monstrous flame on it, and it was extremely cold. "And with just you?" Lin Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. "Even Long Huangzi was defeated by me, let alone you." With a wave of his sleeve, countless sword chi flew out and turned into a terrifying sea of sword chi. Every sword chi was extremely sharp. The monstrous sword chi seemed to be able to tear the entire world apart. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Countless people were shocked. Countless arrays lit up in the hall to resist this power. The people from the Blue Clan had cold looks on their faces. They were ready to attack together. However, Long E waved his hand to stop him. There was no need to worry. The one who attacked was not from the younger generation. He was Long Ao's uncle, so he believed in his strength. So that's how it was. The people of the blue race all laughed. Such a character had cultivated for thousands of years, more than the others. Coupled with the dragon bloodline, he could definitely suppress Lin Wudi. After the attack, Yu Wudao looked at the battlefield and narrowed his eyes. This person was not ordinary. Monkey snorted coldly. It was nothing. The blood in his body was at least 4,000 years old. He was not from the younger generation. Otherwise, he would have been killed by this punch. "Kid, you're interesting. You can actually take my attack." The man shouted coldly. "Then try this move of mine again." He waved his fists, turning them into a dragon head that charged over. He wanted to tear apart the sword chi that filled the sky. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light as he snorted coldly. His palm turned into a demonic seal. Demonic seal. The black seal smashed down and shattered. The void. The dragon head was smashed into pieces. Not only that, Long Ao's uncle's body shook, and in the next moment he was torn apart. His soul was also torn into pieces in an instant. A miserable cry rang out, and the surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? Was this person dead? Impossible. The other elders of the dragon clan suddenly stood up, each of them dumbfounded. The people of the blue clan were also dumbfounded. Even Long E was stunned. He knew the strength of the person who attacked. He was definitely far beyond the younger generation. But now he was insta-killed by someone using a large square seal. Could it be that the gap was really that big? Or was it that they were careless and underestimated the enemy? If it was the second, then they could accept it. But if the gap was really too big, then they could not accept it. How strong was this Lin Wuti? How could such an ant be worthy of fighting with me? Lin Xian retracted the demonic seal and said indifferently. His gaze swept around, and those who were shrouded by his gaze felt their scalps go numb. One by one, they kept retreating. This gaze seemed to split them in half. The people of the dragon clan gritted their teeth. Long Yi's face was even more solemn. Previously, they were still dissatisfied with the dragon prince's injury and defeat. But now, they finally knew that the person in front of them did not rely on luck but true strength. The opponent's strength was beyond their imagination. "What are you doing here?" The leader of the blue clan shouted coldly. Lin Xian said, "I'm here to inform you that Long Ao has been sent to hell by me." What? The surrounding people were stunned. The faces of the blue clan members changed greatly. When the Dragon Sea Lord left, he specially instructed them to take good care of Long Ao. They agreed confidently because this was their base camp. No one could come here to hurt Long Ao. But now, Lin Xian actually told them that Long Ao had fallen. This was impossible. The people of the blue clan roared crazily and quickly went to investigate. Soon the news spread. Not good. Young Master Long Ao had fallen. When these words came out, the people of the dragon clan went crazy. The people of the blue clan were in despair. Long E was furious. "You're courting death." Long Ao's Tao heart was destroyed, but there was still a possibility of recovery. But now everything was over. He could not bear it. The anger of the dragon, the roar of the sea. With a roar, the entire hall turned into an ocean. A huge whirlpool of seawater directly enveloped Lin Xian. In the whirlpool, 36 dragon shadows appeared. The power formed was enough to destroy everything. The moment he attacked, it was a fatal blow. It was enough to show how angry Long E was. "Want to kill me? With just you?" Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light. Monstrous flames appeared on his body. He used the 9-yang divine body to the extreme. "Burn for me." With an angry roar, the phantoms of 9 suns enveloped down, bombarding the seawater. The seawater quickly evaporated. As for Lin Xian, he slashed out with his sword. Chapter 5084. Long E was shocked. He couldn't imagine that the flames on the other party's body were so terrifying. It was able to easily block the ultimate skill that it had unleashed. What shocked him even more was that the other party's sword was invincible. Even he was startled by this. Subconsciously, they dodged to the side. He dodged the sword. However, his expression became incomparably ugly. He dodged, indicating that he was afraid of the other party. Sure enough, Lin Xian's lips curled into a disdainful smile. "Long Hai, even an older generation figure can't do it." "Damn brat, you're courting death." Long E snorted coldly. "I'm not good at this kind of absolute art. I'll let you know how powerful I am." An extremely terrifying light of the sea erupted from his eyes. Sea dragon eyes. A pair of eyes were incomparably strange. Everyone felt the suppression of their souls. What a terrifying soul power. This was an eye technique. Long E was an eye technique expert. Was he going to use such an eye technique to instantly kill the other party? Sensing that extremely powerful eye technique, Lin Xian had a strange expression. Competing with eye techniques? He wasn't weak either. His eye technique was the heavenly secret divine eye. Previously, he had absorbed enough reincarnation power in hell. At this moment, It had become incomparably terrifying. Fine, I'll let you know what a true divine eye is. An extremely terrifying golden light flashed in Lin Xian's eyes. The moment this golden gaze appeared, it swept across the void. Everyone felt fear once again. The people of the Blue Clan were also shocked. They didn't expect that other than his strong physique, his eye technique was also so terrifying. Behind him, the monkey felt this power and laughed. Brother Lin's eye technique isn't any weaker than my martial Dao heavenly eye. Humph. I think this Dragon Clan member is going to be unlucky. The reincarnation power in Lin Xian's eyes transformed into a mountain and suppressed the blue sea in front of him. The two-eye techniques collided in the air, erupting with an extremely terrifying aura. Retreat. The people of the Blue Clan quickly retreated and began to block this invisible force. Even a formation might not be able to block it. Many people's blood boiled. Some people's faces turned pale and directly fainted. There were also some who spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were filled with fear. The leader of the blue race stared at the sky. He didn't know what was going on. Could this move kill Lin Wuti? Screams could be heard in the sky. The leader of the blue race was overjoyed. Great, Lin Wuti was injured. However, he soon discovered that this was not the case. Lin Xian stood there with his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes shone with a piercing light as if he was a god. The one who screamed was Long Yi. How was this possible? The leader of the blue race couldn't believe it. Long Yi, that was the true peerless expert of the Dragon Clan. He had used his ultimate eye technique, but he was still injured. How could this be? Long Yi also did not dare to believe it. However, the power contained within that mountain peak was extremely frightening. It was as if he wanted to reincarnate his soul. He was injured and kept vomiting blood. Damn it, what was that? The power of reincarnation? You can actually use reincarnation. How did you get this power? He was really crazy. Could it be that the unique skill that he had obtained was the reincarnation emperor? However, that shouldn't be the case. The monarch mystic skills that the other party had used earlier were all imbued with extremely strong demonic chi. It should be from the demonic realm. However, why would the other party use such a terrifying eye technique? Did this person have any weaknesses? And even the emperor of your dragon clan was defeated by me. Do you think you can contend against me? Long Yi roared. He turned his head to look at the leader of the blue race and roared crazily. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and mobilize all the power of your clan and take him down. Don't kill him. I want him alive. I want to figure out the secrets on his body. The young man in front of them had too many secrets. They had to figure it out. The leader of the blue race came back to his senses. He roared at the sky and attacked. He himself attacked even more aggressively. However, the power of space appeared on Lin Xian and the others' bodies and slowly faded. Did they want to leave? At this moment, another powerful expert attacked from afar. The people of the blue race were really angry. They sealed the world in ice. Lin Xian's face was gloomy. Everyone, don't hold back. Lin Xian threw out the heavens swallowing jar. A black vortex swept forward. The monkey roared angrily, and his iron rod soared into the sky. It turned into millions of miles, shattering the void. Yi Wu Dao threw out the phantom of an immortal king, his fists sweeping in all directions. Large amounts of palaces shattered. The three of them were truly too powerful, all of them using emperor-level divine abilities. The sky fell and the earth cracked, blocking the attacks in the distance. At the same time, their figures disappeared. At this moment, several terrifying peak great saints of the blue race arrived. They smashed the void, wanting to stop them, but it was already too late. Damn it, did they let him escape? The blue race roared crazily. The four peak great saints attacked together, sweeping across. However, not long after, they returned, shaking their heads. that Brat used the power of space to escape. What was going on? The leader of the blue race was also surprised. Could it be that the Gu clan was secretly helping him? Long E roared crazily. No matter who it was, he must kill him. Lin Wudi, monkey, Yi Wu Dao, I won't let you off. Our Dragon Sea race will let you know what despair is. When the people of the blue race heard this, they sighed in their hearts. Some of them shook their heads. Although the Dragon Sea race was strong, were these three weak? Lin Xian and that monkey were definitely emperor level. Yi Wu Dao didn't use his full strength, but he also cultivated an emperor sutra. Moreover, he had a great emperor family behind him. Would the Dragon Sea race really dare to start an all-out war with the other party? So this time, Long Ao had died for nothing. Quickly send a message to the Dragon Sea Lord. The news spread out instantly. The Dragon Sea Lord in the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty quickly returned after receiving the news. When he returned, he roared at the sky. Damn it, Long Ao had fallen. Even his corpse was gone. It was taken away by the other party. Kill. He led the experts of the Dragon Sea race and charged toward the Dao sect. At this moment, everyone in Holy Abyss City looked up. Heavens! Were the people of the Dragon Sea race going to war with the Dao sect? Stop, what do you want? The people of the Dao sect frowned. The other party was filled with killing intent and had charged into their Dao sect. Were they looking down on them? Although there were old ancestors among them who supported the Dragon Prince, it didn't mean that the Dragon Sea race was above them. Where was Lin Xian? Tell him to come out and die. The Dragon Sea Lord roared crazily. In the ancient city, countless people had rushed over to watch. When they heard this, they were even more shocked. Lin Xian. The other party was here for Lin Xian. Could it be that the Dragon Prince wanted to kill Lin Xian? The elders of the Dao sect frowned as well. Lin Xian was equally important. He had the support of an old ancestor. Naturally, they wouldn't let the other party get hurt. Why are you looking for Lin Xian? I want him to die. I want him to go to the 18 levels of hell. The Dragon Sea Lord roared crazily. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to the people of the Dragon Palace, asking them to search the Dao sect quickly. Chapter 5085. The people of the Dao frowned even more when they heard that. He wanted to kill Lin Xian. It was even more impossible for them to let him enter. Whoever stops me will go to hell. An extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from Long Hai Lord's body and swept through the 9 heavens. Everyone's expression changed. The people of the Dao were also facing a great enemy. Do you want to start a war with the Dao sect? How about starting a war? Long Hai Lord was incomparably domineering. Behind him was the 10,000 Dragon Court and the Dragon Prince. He was fearless of everything. However, at this moment, the void broke open and a cold shout rang out. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Then a fist punched out, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to split. In the distance, the people watching the battle trembled. It was too terrifying. It was another peak great sage. Long Hai Lord roared angrily and struck out with a monstrous dragon claw to fight against it. The two collided and the power dissipated in the sky at the same time. Long Hai Lord's blood boiled and an extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. He stared straight ahead. A pair of large hands tore open the void in front and the savage wilderness ancestor walked out. If you dare to take another step forward, don't blame me for beating you into pieces. Savage wilderness ancestor was incomparably domineering. Firstly, this was the territory of the Dao, and the people brought by the other party were not enough to look at. Secondly, although both parties were peak great sages, he had been in this realm for many years. The other party was still far from being comparable to him. Long Hai Lord was so angry that he vomited blood. As the leader of a race, when had he been looked down upon like this? However, he also knew that this was not a place for him to be impudent. He said coldly, Lin Xian killed my son Long Ao. Long Ao is also a prince of your Dao. Aren't you going to ask about it? Lin Xian has already broken the rules. I cannot do anything, but your Dao sect has to punish him. The moment these words came out, the surrounding people were also shocked. It couldn't be. There was actually such a thing. It was too unbelievable. Previously, Long Ao's Dao heart was crippled by Lin Xian, and now he was killed by Lin Xian. No wonder Long High Lord was so angry. Savage wilderness ancestor said coldly, "Do you have evidence?" Dragon Sea Master said, "Of course there is. Have Lin Xian come out. I will confront him." "You're too late. Lin Xian has already left the Dao." "Left? Did he run away out of guilt? Where did he go? Or do you want to protect him?" Dragon Sea Lord roared furiously. The savage lord snorted coldly. "What? Are you doubting me?" His body exuded an extremely terrifying power, causing the surrounding sky to crumble and the earth to crack. The members of the dragon tribe also began to tremble in fear. This aura was really too terrifying. He was above them. It made it impossible for them to block. Clan leader, the other party, is too powerful. Why don't we leave first and ask old ancestor Fantasy World to investigate? Someone beside him reminded him. Dragon Sea Lord's face was cold. He waved his sleeve and turned to leave. After returning, he invited old ancestor Fantasy World. The answer the Fantasy World ancestor gave him was that the Dao sect could no longer sense Lin Xian's aura. He was nowhere to be seen in the entire Holy Yuan ancient city. They naturally believed Fantasy World ancestors' words. Dragon Sea Master roared. "Damn it, he actually left? He must have used the teleportation array in the Dao sect. Quickly go and investigate. Even if he escapes to the ends of the earth, I will find him and suppress him." Dragon Sea Lord's people moved quickly. A few elders of the Dragon Sea clan rushed over to inform them. However, they discovered that the Dragon Sea Master had already received the news. Furthermore, to their astonishment, the Dragon Sea Master had already received the news. Dragon Sea Lord didn't catch the enemy at all. He was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. They were dumbfounded. After Lin Xian and the others killed Long Ao, they left the Blue Clan. After leaving, he left with Monkey, Yi Wu Dao, and the others. They would meet again after breaking through to the Great Sage Realm. Then he teleported back to the Divine Union, brought the Toad and the Crimson Dragon, and found the Savage Lord. He directly used the super teleportation array and left this continent. Underworld. Undead tribe. On this day, countless powerhouses moved out. Their expressions were solemn, and their eyes seemed to be filled with awe and excitement. "Is he here?" Someone whispered. An elder nodded. "Soon." After about half a day, a low voice sounded from afar. The people of the undead tribe raised their heads to look at the sky. The clan leader of the undead tribe came out personally to welcome him. Behind him stood many elders of the undead tribe. If the other clans and sects of the underworld saw such a grand scene, they would definitely be shocked. The undead tribe was the primordial tribe. How powerful was it? Who were they welcoming now? A war chariot descended from the sky. The war chariot was very strange. Half of it was black and the other half was white. It seemed to have turned into yin and yang. The war chariot stopped when it was a meter away from the ground. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions. The clan leader of the undead tribe walked forward and smiled. "Fairy Yunchi, we've been waiting for you for a long time." For figures stood around the war chariot. The 4 great sages wore masks, and their auras were equally terrifying. At this moment, the door of the war chariot opened, and a woman walked out. This woman was even more strange. Half of her face was wholly like an angel, while the other half was terrifying like a demon. The moment she appeared, many young geniuses of the undead tribe were shocked. Their expressions became terrified and even those elders were stunned. The clan leader of the undead tribe said, "Fairy Yun Yue, this is?" The woman in front said, coldly, "Don't worry, I've reached a critical moment in cultivating my mystique. That's why I have such an impression." "I see." The clan leader of the undead tribe naturally knew about this woman's identity and background. Hence, he was not surprised. He said, "Fairy Yun Yue, please." As the clan leader of the undead tribe, he was so respectful to her. The geniuses of the undead tribe were also confused. This woman was also from the younger generation. Why was their clan leader so afraid of her? As for her background, they had heard a little about it. The number one genius of their clan, the Undead Abyss, once had an engagement. The other party was a genius of a certain primordial tribe. However, the Undead Abyss had unexpectedly fallen. The undead tribe had informed the other party of this news. The engagement could not continue. Now that the primordial tribe had arrived, this woman should be the Undead Abyss fiancée. Yun Yu walked into the main hall. The 4 guards who followed her stood outside to guard her. The clan leader of the undead tribe and a few core elders walked in. The others were all blocked outside. After entering, the clan leader of the undead tribe sighed. "We're sorry about the Undead Abyss." Yun Yue's expression turned cold. "Who killed him?" "Although we're not married yet, he's still my fiancé. Whoever killed him, I'll avenge him. Our Destiny Gemini tribe will never let our enemies go." As she spoke, the light on her body became even more terrifying. Half of it seemed to be about to ascend to immortality, while the other half seemed to be about to fall into hell forever. Chapter 5086. This scene caused the surrounding elders to suck in a breath of cold air. They had to admit that this woman was really terrifying. The leader of the undead spirits seemed to see hope. He said that the person who killed Ling Yuan was also a young genius. His name was Lin Wudi. Lin Wudi. Yun Xia frowned. What an arrogant name. What was the background of this person? Did he know his identity and background? She asked. The leader of the undead spirits said that he didn't know. Previously, he belonged to the Killing Temple. Later, he fell out with the Sandkill Temple and left the underworld. After hearing this, Yun Yu frowned even more. She gently clapped her hands and said, "Come in." The door of the hall opened, and there were 4 guards outside. One of them walked in. This guard was wearing a bronze mask. After he came in, he asked, "Princess, what's the matter?" Yun Yu asked, "Have you heard of Lin Wudi?" After hearing this, the guard's eyes flickered. He had heard this name recently. Oh, the surrounding people were stunned. Yun Yu explained in detail. Not long ago, news came from St. Yuan Ancient City that the Dragon Prince was crowned successfully. At the same time, another person was crowned king on the same day. He was also from the Path sect, and his name was Lin Wudi. The Path sect crowned 2 kings in one day. This news not only spread throughout the ancient city, but also in all directions. Even many people in the myriad worlds had learned of the news. After the undead clan heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Wudi was already crowned king. Could he compete with the emperor? This wasn't good news for them. Yun Yu also asked, "Besides Lin Wudi, do you know anything else?" The guard shook his head. He could kill the number 1 genius of the undead spirits. His strength was close to the emperor's, so the most likely person was Lin Wudi. After hearing this, Yun Yu took a deep breath, and an extremely sharp light burst out from her eyes. A crowned king? Humph. Can you be arrogant just because you are? My Destiny Gemini clan can control your life. Unless you have an Emperor clan as your background, you will die without a doubt. It seemed that even if Lin Xian was crowned king, the Destiny Gemini clan did not intend to let him go. The undead spirits clenched their fists. It seemed that they could only rely on this woman in front of them. After that, the members of the Twins of Destiny left. After leaving the underworld, Yun Yu's eyes shone with a sharp light. Search for Lin Wudi's whereabouts and act as soon as there's a chance. Don't kill him. Keep him alive to suppress him. For this person to be able to compete with the Crown Prince, he must have countless secrets. Once we obtain his secrets, we will kill him. Yes. The guard bowed and agreed. Regarding this matter, Lin Xian didn't know. He also didn't know that he was being watched by the Destiny Twins. At this moment, after endless teleportation, they finally stopped. A vortex appeared in the air. Several figures appeared. Lin Xian stood in the 9 heavens and looked down. Feeling the aura of this place, he was also amazed. They had already left Yaoguang continent, far away from Holy Distant City. They arrived at another continent. This place was also a buried emperor star called the Horizontal Jade Continent. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand. The toad and the crimson dragon also followed. Whitey also jumped out, looking very happy. The group flew into the distance. After a few days, they stopped. They discovered that there was a kind of jade in the forest ahead. It was something they had never seen before. This kind of jade was similar to a divine crystal. It was crystal clear and contained powerful energy. No wonder it was called the Horizontal Jade Continent. It turned out that it had such power. Lin Xian waved his hand and held a piece of jade in his hand. He sensed some information. It seemed that each continent had a different source of power. This new power was able to cause the power in his body to boil. This time, he would break through to the Great Sage realm on the Horizontal Jade Continent. Then he would kill his way back and fight with the Dragon Prince. Kid, watch me. At this moment, the Crimson Dragon walked out. He waved his hand and took out a disc array, beginning to search for something. During this period of time, the Crimson Dragon was very mysterious. He seemed to have been affected by Lin Xian and the Dragon Prince being conferred the title of king. The Crimson Dragon also worked very hard to cultivate. However, his cultivation did not increase. He seemed to be researching formations. Lin Xian glanced at him curiously. What kind of new formations are you researching? The Crimson Dragon said proudly. Kid, watch out. Ben Huang's cultivation is not weaker than yours. When the time comes, Ben Huang will also suppress an emperor. As he spoke, the disc array in his hand spun quickly. There seemed to be a dragon image circling around it. Let's go. The dragon, head pointed in a direction. The Crimson Dragon quickly flew. Lin Xian and the toad curiously followed. After flying for about half a day, the Crimson Dragon stopped. There was a continuous mountain range in front of them. The Crimson Dragon was constantly moving. When they were at the 24th mountain range, he said, "This is it." The toad said, "Ruzalong, what are you doing? Is there a treasure here?" "Xiao Buddy and check it out." Lin Xian also looked at Xiao Bai. When it came to finding treasures, Xiao Bai was an expert. However, Xiao Bai was confused. "Yeah, there's nothing delicious here. Damn, Ruzalong, can you do it?" The toad asked. The Crimson Dragon said, "What does this little monkey know? He specializes in finding spirit fruits. I'm also looking for treasures, but Xiao Bai is not interested. I'm looking for spirit veins of heaven and earth." Do you know what I just used? Searching for dragons and fixing veins. This was a great method. When practiced to the extreme, one could be called a heavenly master. With the power of heaven and earth, it was enough to suppress everything. At that time, Ben Huang would be Heavenly Master Long. To be specific, Lin Xian was also confused. The Crimson Dragon explained in detail, and Lin Xian was also surprised. It turned out that this was a power that surpassed the power of formations. At their level, the array formation they set up was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian had even seen the formations of the Great Emperor, and it was even more terrifying. However, there was another way to set up formations. That was to directly use mountains and rivers, spirit veins and dragon veins as proof, and use heaven and earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars as power to set up formations. These people cultivated to a terrifying level and were called Earth Masters. At the terrifying level, they were called Heavenly Masters. A Heavenly Master was enough to make countless families of the remote antiquity panic. The Crimson Dragon was using this method now. Lin Xian was also surprised. He did not expect the other party to have such a secret technique. "Are you looking for a dragon vein?" Lin Xian asked. The Crimson Dragon pointed at the mountain peak below and said, "No, it's a jade vein." "Didn't you find a piece of jade before? There's a complete jade vein here." "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and do it." The toad could not wait any longer. Its eyes were red. If they could get such a big jade vein, it would definitely improve their cultivation. Chapter 5087. The group of people flew down the mountain peak. When they arrived at the bottom of the mountain peak, they were stunned, because they discovered that there were more people rushing over from afar. The auras of these people were very terrifying, and there were quite a few of them. It seemed that they should be a terrifying force. The leader was a short-haired man. After he arrived, he frowned and stared at Lin Xian and the other two. "Who are you people?" he asked coldly. The toad snorted coldly. "Who are you people? We were the first to discover this place." As soon as he said that, the people on the other side all pulled out their swords. Could it be that the secret was discovered by them? If that was the case, then they couldn't let them live. The short-haired man in the lead waved his hand and said, "Your faces are very unfamiliar. You shouldn't be from this area, right? I'll give you a chance. Quickly disappear from my sight, and I can spare your lives." Otherwise, he didn't continue speaking, but an extremely cold light appeared in his eyes. That was the power of thunder and lightning. It was extremely terrifying. This short-haired man's origin was extremely extraordinary. He was from the Thunder Clan and had mastered the Thunder Dao. Moreover, his bloodline was very terrifying. It was said that when he was born, he was accompanied by a thundercloud. The people of the Thunder Clan thought that this was a phenomenon of heaven and earth and that he would shine in the future. Therefore, the Thunder Clan's patriarch personally gave him the name Lei Yun. Lei Yun had displayed powerful talent since he was young. He could control terrifying thunder at a young age. It was not a problem for him to fight those of a higher level. There were very few people of the same level who were his match. He grew up just like that. He had never been defeated and became a top genius of his generation. At this moment, his eyes were emitting thunder. In his opinion, the three people in front of him would definitely kneel down obediently and leave, because the other party couldn't withstand the power of his thunder at all. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Was the other party threatening him? The other party's eyes were filled with thunder. Did they want him to submit and kneel? Humph! A trace of golden light appeared in his eyes, and with the power of reincarnation he also charged over. It collided with the other party's thunder. In an instant, a large crack was torn in the void. Lei Yun's expression changed. He realized that the other party didn't kneel down. Instead, they attacked him. The other party's murderous gaze made his soul shake. He roared angrily and wanted to retaliate, but he realized that the other party's soul was more terrifying than he had imagined. The power contained in that gaze was like 100,000 mountains, causing him to crumble. Bang! A low voice rang out. Lei Yun quickly retreated. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and a bloody light appeared in his eyes. What's going on? The faces of the people behind him changed greatly, and they hurriedly supported him. You're hurt. Damn it, you dare to make a move? They roared crazily as they stared at Lin Xian. At the same time, they were incomparably shocked. They knew Lei Yun's strength. Could it be that he was careless? Lei Yun's face turned even uglier. How could this be? How could the other party injure him so easily? Damn it! Who was the other party? One had to know that he was the top genius of the Thundercloud tribe and had never been defeated. Although he was careless before, it was impossible for him to lose so miserably. "Who are you?" He also looked forward and roared crazily. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly, "I'll give you a chance. Disappear from my sight, and I won't kill you." "Kid, you're too arrogant. Do you know who we are? Do you know who the person you've injured is?" Their eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. "No matter who you are, get lost." Lin Xian looked ahead disdainfully. He had already been crowned king. So how could he be afraid of these people? Even if he was in a different continent, he would still be an unparalleled expert. He didn't need to be polite to anyone. The Crimson Dragon also walked over and said, "What? Could it be that you also know about the existence of the jade vein under this mountain?" The toad snorted coldly. "Don't even think about it. The jade vein is ours. Get lost." The pupils of the Lei Dong tribe shrank. Damn it, these people actually knew about the jade vein. They couldn't let them live. Lei Dong swallowed a pill to suppress his injuries. Then he said, "Everyone, let's do it." The news here must not be spread out. These people would not be able to leave this place alive. The surrounding people nodded after hearing this. They split up and fought in all directions. They sealed all the paths. "Young man, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you think you can contend against us?" A middle-aged man walked out. There were endless thunder snakes circling around his body. It was abnormally terrifying. "How dare you offend our Lei Dong tribe? We won't kill you easily. We'll let you die in despair." Another old man walked out. He held a thunder blade in his hand, releasing a biting cold aura. The others all used their supernatural powers and phenomena, freezing between heaven and earth. The terrifying thunder aura carried a violent and destructive power. It was as if it wanted to tear Lin Xian and the others apart. There were still some people searching for opportunities in this mountain range, such as looking for spiritual herbs. At this moment, they felt that there was a terrifying thunder power emerging from this mountain peak. They thought that a treasure of heaven and earth had appeared. They all came over to investigate. However, when they saw one after another, powerhouses like the Thunder God, they were all stunned. It was the Lei Dong tribe. "Leave quickly." These people hurriedly retreated. What was the Thunder Dragon tribe doing here? They seemed to have surrounded a few figures. Heavens! Someone dared to attack the Lei Dong tribe? Did they have a death wish? In front, 12 powerhouses surrounded Lin Xian and the other two. The Lei Dong tribe was extremely confident. In their opinion, 6 powerhouses were enough to deal with the other party. They went all out only because they were angry. "You want to attack me?" Lin Xian laughed. "I advise you not to do this, because if you attack me, you'll end up very badly." "Stupid thing, are you living in a dream? Do you think the 3 of you can fight against us?" Ha! They laughed proudly. The people in the distance were also frightened. There were even 2 figures standing on the mountain peak in the distance. The 2 silhouettes were a handsome man and a beautiful woman. The 2 of them looked ahead and frowned slightly. The Lei Dong tribe was too much. They had no choice. The Lei Dong tribe was also an overlord in this place. How could they care about the 3 of them? They just didn't know who these 3 people were. They were so reckless. There would always be people who were blind. There was no need to pay attention to this battle. The man held a folding fan in his hand and shook his head slightly. Lei Yun, who was in front, shouted angrily, "Cut the crap. Take him down. I want to torture him to death bit by bit." As his order fell, the people in front attacked. The first middle-aged man waved his hand and thousands of lightning snakes flew out. The second old man sneered and slashed out with his saber. Chapter 5088. These 2 people's attacks both charged toward Lin Xian. In their view, this attack was enough to seriously injure the other party. As for the others, Some people attacked the Crimson Dragon and the Toad. Looking at the divine abilities rushing over, Lin Xian sneered. He formed a seal with his palm. Endless golden light appeared in his palm. Fearless lion seal. A golden lion rushed forward, pouncing toward the two great divine abilities. Useless brat, who do you think you are? Can you contend with us? The two people sneered. The fearless lion collided with the terrifying lightning, emitting a sky-shaking sound. Tens of millions of lightning snakes were smashed into pieces in an instant. At the same time, that blade light was also sent flying by the fearless lion. How was this possible? The pupils of the two Thunderclap clan powerhouses constricted fiercely. The other party's divine ability was so powerful. It seemed that they underestimated this brat. This guy was actually a top genius. Thunderclap's pupils constricted even more fiercely. He roared angrily. Stop watching the show for me. Attack with all your might. I must obtain this divine ability. He was very tempted by this fearless lion seal. The other people also attacked one after another. However, Lin Xian was even faster. He executed Shadowless Heaven's net and instantly disappeared. Those people's attacks hit the void. When Lin Xian appeared, he already arrived beside the first middle-aged man. Go to hell. The middle-aged man waved his hand, turning into endless lightning snakes that surged out. Those lightning snakes had the power to pierce through everything, but they only hit Lin Xian's afterimage. A sword light appeared in Lin Xian's hand. He waved it lightly, instantly splitting open the other party's glabella. Azura sword art. The first sword. The middle-aged man's body trembled. He let out an unwilling roar. What kind of sword was this? It actually split open his soul in an instant. His body fell down and fell to the ground. Was he dead? The surrounding people were stunned, not daring to believe it. The other party instantly killed a powerhouse on their side with one sword. What kind of sword technique was this? This kid was too strange, right? Strange movement technique, superb sword technique. Who exactly was the other party? Kill. They charged over once again. Lin Xian once again used Shadowless Heaven's net to dodge these attacks. Then he walked up to the second old man. It was also the Azura sword art. The old man was scared out of his wits. He roared furiously and unleashed the full power of the thunder blade in his hand, cleaving heaven and earth. This saber strike could shatter heaven and earth. However, it was still useless. The Azura sword art was a sure-kill technique, a great emperor's technique. Its speed was unparalleled. In the blink of an eye, it pierced through the opponent's head. The second old man fell to the ground, bleeding from his forehead. Did one of them die? The others couldn't believe it. Lei Yun was also stunned. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon and Toad also attacked. The Crimson Dragon was very strong, and its dragon claw sent a powerhouse flying. The Toad even released poison and injured a person. However, there were too many of them, and all of them were experts. In an instant, they were surrounded. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. Then, I'll show you my newest power. With a wave of his hand, the surrounding ground cracked open, and countless rays of light appeared. Those were the rays of jade, and they turned into a jade dragon that charged forward. The power was extremely terrifying. In an instant, 3 people were sent flying, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. The Toad also roared furiously. Little White, come and help me. I'll release poison, you do it. Little White ate spirit fruits while appearing and disappearing unpredictably, directly knocking the 3 of them unconscious. The 3 of them fell into a state of dizziness. The Toad released poison, and their bodies began to rot as they screamed miserably. The people of the Thunder Clan were beaten up by Lin Xian and the other 2. In the blink of an eye, they were either dead or injured. Only Lei Yun was left. He looked ahead and trembled in fear. Impossible! How can you be so strong? He was really stunned. Who were these people? Lin Xian killed 2 sages with another sword strike. Then he looked ahead. I've said it before, I'm not someone you can provoke. I gave you a chance to leave before, but you didn't cherish it. Then don't blame me. No. Lei Yin roared crazily. You can't kill me. I'm the top genius of the Thunder Clan. If you kill me, my clan won't let you off. Oh, is that so? Threatening me. But unfortunately, I'm not afraid of threats. Lin Xian sneered and walked forward. Lei Yin suddenly raised his head, and a lightning rune appeared on his forehead. Go to hell. The rune released a ray of lightning. It was a red ray of light with the power of heavenly punishment, and it directly charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect the other party to have such an attack. Heavenly punishment was indeed a great threat to him, because he was a person abandoned by the heavens. However, there was a group of heavenly punishment, and now there was only one. Moreover, it was caused by the young man in front of him. Although it was dangerous to him, it wasn't fatal. He used Shadowless Heaven's net to dodge quickly, and at the same time he activated the heaven-devouring jar. A black vortex appeared and devoured the heavenly tribulation. How was that possible? How could he not die? Lei Yin knelt down completely. That attack just now was the strongest attack he could make in an instant by activating his bloodline. Previously, he had relied on this to kill an expert whose cultivation level was much higher than his. This was his greatest trump card. But now it was easily dodged by the other party. Don't kill me. He knelt down, but he was sent flying by Lin Xian with a slap. Lin Xian's power was so terrifying that half of Lei Yun's body was split open. Then he was instantly killed by a sword, and the others were all dealt with. The people watching the battle from afar were dumbfounded. What did they see? The incomparably terrifying Thunder Dong clan was actually annihilated by someone. This was too inconceivable. Were these people really all young people? The 2 people watching the battle from afar were also surprised. Oh, the tables had turned. It seemed that the Lei Dong clan had kicked an iron plate. The 12 people in front were all extremely terrifying existences among the great sages. However, they were mercilessly killed. This showed that Lin Xian and the others were far stronger than the other party. At this moment, they were even more shocked, because they realized that the handsome man in the lead was looking in their direction. There was a golden light in his eyes. The void around them instantly froze, and their souls also felt a huge suppression. The handsome man snorted coldly and closed his folding fan, and a force enveloped them. Then the 2 disappeared. Did they leave? Lin Xian retracted his gaze. The power of these 2 people was very strange. He ignored them and waved his hand, splitting the mountain peak. Below, endless rays of light flew out. It was a jade vein. At this moment, a small part of the jade vein had become dim. Previously, the Crimson Dragon used this power, which surprised Lin Xian. It could be seen that the Crimson Dragon used the power of the jade vein to form a jade dragon that swept in all directions. Didn't this mean that as long as there were enough spirit veins under the ground, the Crimson Dragon could be used infinitely? What a terrifying ultimate technique! It was stronger than the power of a formation. Chapter 5089. Lin Xian divided the remaining jade veins into 3 portions and gave them to the Crimson Dragon and the Toad. Let them cultivate. As for Little White, it didn't care about these at all. Little White only liked to eat spirit fruits of heaven and earth. Lin Xian's portion was kept by him. After entering the sword world, the jade vein turned into a jade dragon and crawled up. The light on it instantly dimmed. Fortunately, the surroundings of the 4 Spirits Valley had already changed, so the power of the jade vein did not completely disappear. Not bad. Kid, did you find a spirit vein again? The 4 spirit beasts were overjoyed. What a strange power. Lin Xian waved his hand and used the void beast to bring the group away. After arriving at a safe place, he went in and absorbed the power of the jade vein. Later on, the Crimson Dragon and the Toad also came. They placed their jade veins into the sword world. After cultivating recently, they were incomparably shocked. Heavens, you actually have a world in your body. What kind of world is this? Why do I feel so primordial? The Crimson Dragon was shocked. The Toad also said, what an ancient aura. Moreover, this world seemed to be dilapidated. Only this place was filled with vitality. Damn, the divine spring of life. The Toad looked ahead and directly flew over to the spring under the heavenly tree. However, it was blocked by a force. It wasn't Lin Xian who did it. Instead, it was a section of the heavenly tree's trunk that was blooming with light. It blocked everything. Fortunately, the Toad was one of them, so it was only bounced back. If it was an enemy, this attack would have been able to blast the enemy into a bloody mist. Lin Xian was also surprised. It seemed that the divine spring of life fruit from before was powerful enough to restore some vitality to the withered, heavenly tree. However, it was too small. It was only a tree trunk. It was far from enough. He didn't know what kind of power this was, to be able to revive the entire heavenly tree. While they were cultivating here, the news outside had also spread. Those who were watching the battle from afar spread what they had seen. Everyone was shocked. 3 experts had joined forces to kill the 12 great sages of the Thunder Clan. Even young Master Raincloud had fallen. Heavens, who is it? Are those people very powerful? When they heard that most of the great sages had been killed, they were stunned. Heavens, it had been thousands of years since someone dared to challenge the Lei Dong clan. After receiving the news, the Lei Dong tribe roared madly. They sent even more experts and elders to investigate. However, he found that the person had already left. The entire jade vein had also disappeared. This made them so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. This time, their losses were really too great. Not only did he lose the jade vein, but he also lost a group of experts. More importantly, if this matter were to spread, they would lose face. Find them for me. I want to see who dares to go against my Thunder Dong clan. In a mountain stream, the waterfall was like a paradise on earth. Several beautiful women were resting and chatting here. At this moment, the void split open, and 2 figures quickly returned. You're back so soon? The beautiful woman in the mountain stream turned her head and looked over. The next moment, they were surprised because they found that the 2 of them seemed to be a little gloomy when they returned. What was going on? Why did the 2 of you look so gloomy? Could it be that you encountered some danger? These 2 people were the ones who secretly observed Lin Xian's battle. After the 2 of them returned, they told them what had happened. After hearing this, the few of them were surprised. Oh, such a terrifying expert has appeared? Which clan is he from? One of the beautiful women was astonished. Her face was a little serious. She asked, "Did you see clearly? Are they golden eyes? Also, what does that person look like? Qing Feng, why are you so nervous? Do you know him?" "Hurry up and tell me." Qing Feng asked. If Lin Xian was here, he would definitely be surprised because he knew this woman. Previously, in the ancient city, people from the Phoenix clan and the Heavenly Rock clan had come. The Phoenix clan's person was Qing Feng. The Heavenly Rock clan's person was Bai Li Fei. These 2 people had fought with Lin Xian before. The beautiful woman now was Qing Feng. In other words, these people were from the Phoenix clan. The 2 people from the Phoenix clan explained in detail. After hearing this, Qing Feng was also shocked. Is he here? Is it really him? Who is it? The surrounding people were curious. However, Qing Feng shook her head. She said, "You guys stay here. I have to go back first." Why was the other party not in the ancient city? Was he here for the Phoenix clan or for Murong Qingcheng? After Lin Xian and the other 2 walked out of the sword world, they felt refreshed. It seemed that their strength was stronger than before. However, there was still a long way to go before they could break through to the Great Sage realm. Lin Xian was not in a hurry. He knew that he would have to stay on this continent for a period of time. Maybe one day an opportunity would come. He would be able to break through in one go. After flying for 5 days, they found a huge city in front of them. They landed. Walking into the city, they found that it was similar to the Yaoguang continent. There were many genius experts, and there were even many great sages. It seemed that the difference in strength between the buried Emperor Star was not very big. After this, Lin Xian and the others heard a piece of news, because the entire city was talking about it. Have you heard? This gathering was initiated by the Tianpeng clan. They invited the Phoenix clan, the other desolate ancient clans, and the great sections. It could be said that this was the most eye-catching gathering. I heard that the top geniuses of the Tianpeng clan will be there. I wonder if Bailiwick will be there? Nonsense. This gathering was initiated by him. As the most dazzling genius of the Tianpeng clan, how could he be absent? Moreover, I know that this gathering is specially to invite the genius of the Phoenix clan. Are you talking about Morong Qingsheng? I heard that she joined the Phoenix clan halfway. Why is her status so high? One after another, voices of discussion sounded. After Lin Xian and the others heard this, they narrowed their eyes. They did not expect that there would be news of the Phoenix clan so soon. Previously, when the savage ancestor asked him to choose a continent to teleport to, Lin Xian asked where the Phoenix clan was, because he felt that it was definitely related to Morong Qingsheng. It had been a long time since he had seen her. Su Cheng wanted to take this opportunity to meet her, so he came to the Alioth continent. He did not expect that not long after he arrived, he would hear news of the Phoenix clan. Moreover, it was news about Morong Qingsheng. Greetings, everyone. Lin Xian walked over and said with a smile. The young people in front of him who were talking turned their heads and asked, "Who are you?" Lin Xian said, "I came from outside. I heard that there was a gathering here, but I don't know the exact location. I also want to see the genius of the Phoenix clan to fulfill a dream of mine." "Oh, I see. Well, you can come with us. We are also preparing to go." Chapter 5090. Sorry to disturb you. Lin Xian and the others sat with these people. They were all young people, and they were all geniuses from the great families. Moreover, they were all genius disciples of large clans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be qualified to talk about the Phoenix clan. "Brother, how should I address you?" a man in white asked. The other women also blinked curiously, because they realized that Lin Xian was very handsome. However, that was all. At their level, the most important thing was to consider strength. "My name is Lin Xian, and these are my 2 friends." Lin Xian and the others greeted them. These people nodded after hearing. They didn't care too much. After all, this was the Yuhun continent, and they were more concerned about the experts and geniuses of this continent. For example, the experts of the Phoenix clan and the Tianpeng clan. Although the news of Lin Xian being crowned king had spread throughout the 8 desolates, that fame belonged to Lin Wudi. As for Lin Xian's real name, not many people knew about it. Lin Xian didn't care about it. This could save him a lot of trouble. At least, if the enemy wanted to investigate him, they wouldn't know where he was. Lin Xian also knew about these people. There were a total of 5 people. 2 of them were from the great sects, and the other 3 were from the clan of the ancients. They were the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor clan. The leader of the Earth Spirit clan was called Bai Yi, and the leader of the Golden Armor clan was called Jia Luo. The group was familiar with each other. Bai Yi said, Brother Lin, there's still a month before the banquet. However, we have to leave in 3 days because it's quite far from here." Lin Xian nodded and said, "No problem. Brother Bai, you can decide." 3 days later, they set off in a war chariot and flew into the distance. After flying for about 20 days, they finally stopped. There was a sealed enchantment in front of them, and it formed a space of its own. Bai Yi said, "This is our destination. The territory in front belongs to the Tianpeng clan, and it has an extremely strong seal. Ordinary people can't enter. Fortunately, we have invitations." Bai Yi and the others took out their invitations and walked in. After entering, it was like a celestial land. It was vast and filled with spirit qi. It looked like a paradise on earth. Lin Xian and the others felt refreshed. The Heavenly Peng clan was indeed extraordinary. Although they weren't from the monarch clan, they were still considered top-notch existences among the clans of the ancients. After entering, Lin Xian and the others could hear all sorts of discussions regarding the heavenly rock race, especially the legend of Flawless 100 Miles. Although the Sky Rock race wasn't an emperor race, Prince Bailey was too strong. He was definitely a revered great emperor. It wouldn't be a problem for him to become a great emperor. That was for sure. It would be even more perfect if he could marry the fatally beautiful fairy of the Phoenix clan. The surrounding martialists were full of envy at the thought of the fatally beautiful fairy. To be able to marry such a beauty, he could die without regrets. As for those beautiful fairies, their faces are filled with jealousy. If only I could marry young Master Wu Kei, how good would that be? Don't even think about it. You guys have no chance. Someone said. There were also people who asked, why did I hear that Princess Qingqing seemed unwilling? What do you know? In my opinion, that Morong Qingqing is too stupid. She thinks that she can be high and mighty just because she's from the Phoenix clan. It's her fortune that young Master Wu Kei has taken a fancy to her. The one who said that was also a little princess. She seemed to be very angry. She said, the Sky Rock race is an existence that can slay dragons. No matter how strong the Phoenix clan is, they can't be that much stronger. Isn't it just an additional extreme weapon? Other than that, I don't think there's much of a difference. As soon as she said that, the Crimson Dragon was displeased. He originally wanted to find out more information, but at this moment he snorted coldly. How dare they slay a dragon? Aren't they afraid of being torn apart by a dragon? Also, who does that Wuk think he is? How dare he marry Qingqing? Is he even worthy? As soon as this voice was heard, the surrounding people were stunned. They all turned their heads to look. Damn, who is it? He's so reckless. A crawling snake? No, it's the aura of the Tao of Dragons. He's from the dragon race. No wonder. The Sky Rock race and the dragon race seem to have a grudge, right? The dragon race is powerful, but in ancient times the Sky Rock race also produced peerless experts. They once swept through the 8 desolates. At that time, a conflict broke out between the Sky Rock race and the dragon race, and there was even a story about the Sky Rock race. Later on, it evolved into the Sky Rock slaying dragon. It made people think that the Sky Rock race was above the dragon race. At that time, the dragon race was very angry because of this and started countless battles with the Sky Rock race. Later on, a great emperor appeared in the dragon race and swept across the universe. Only then did they stand at the peak of the universe. However, the Sky Rock race was not destroyed. They were just suppressed by the dragon race. From this, it could be seen that the Sky Rock race was also incomparably powerful. They only lacked a great emperor. Someone sneered, "The dragon race dares to come here? Aren't they afraid of being stewed by the Sky Rock race?" The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. "Let's see who dares to make a move against Ben Huang." Lin Xian and the others also walked over and looked around. He advised, "All right, Rusalong, be quiet. We'll talk when the time comes." Right now, he didn't want to attract attention. He would talk about it when Morong Qingqing came. The Crimson Dragon said, "All right, then I'll let the Sky Rock race go first." At that time, when that little girl Morong came, he would teach them a lesson. As for the Sky Rock race wanting to marry Morong Qingqing, it was a joke. Even if he was given 10,000 years, he wouldn't succeed. If he didn't succeed, would you succeed? Some people were angry and couldn't stand it anymore. They felt that this dragon was too hateful. He actually dared to look down on young Masterwuck. The Crimson Dragon sneered. I can't, but my brother can. He pointed at Lin Xian. The surrounding people all looked over. This guy looks quite handsome. But what's the use of being handsome? If he met young Masterwuck, he would probably be slapped to death. Not only that, I feel that young Masterwuck can kill him with a single glance. That's for sure. Who is young Masterwuck? He is the #1 young person in the Skyrock race. He also has the talent of a young great emperor. He is an existence that can compete with the emperor. Such an ant is not a match for young Masterwuck. Damn it. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad still wanted to make a move. Lin Xian held the two of them down and said, "Let's go." He brought the two of them back. Bei Yi and the others walked over and said, "Brother, don't be depressed. It's not that they are looking down on you. It's that young Masterwuck is really too powerful. He is an existence that all of us look up to." That's right. Only those emperor's sons can compete with young Masterwuck. For example, the Dragon Prince of the Dragon race, the Kuan Peng of the Kuan Peng race, the Qilin Sun, and the Empress of the Phoenix race. Oh right, have you heard? News came from Holy Abyss Ancient City that another person was crowned king, competing with the Dragon Prince. I know the person you are talking about. His name is Linwoody, right? He is also one. I heard that he is very powerful. Not only was he crowned king, but he also injured the Dragon Prince. Many people were surprised. Some people said that it was impossible. Perhaps the distance was too far, and the news was too exaggerated. Some people said that one day we will go to Holy Abyss Ancient City and see with our own eyes what kind of god Linwoody is. Chapter 5091. Hearing this, Lin Xian's expression became extremely strange, because the Linwoody that these people admired was him. What kind of expression would these people have if they knew? These people came from afar. At this moment, a few figures walked over. The leader was a tall man surrounded by lightning and was abnormally terrifying. When Lin Xian saw this person, he narrowed his eyes because he had encountered this person's aura before. Were the people of the Thunder Clan here to look for him? The Crimson Dragon was also nervous. They were ready to attack at any time. But what surprised them was that the other party was not here to look for him. The tall man in front looked at Lin Xian and the others. However, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were quickly ignored by him. He stared at the two women from the Earth Spirit clan, and a smile appeared on his face. New faces, not bad looking. Lei Shan was very satisfied. They could be his cultivation vessels. He said, "I am Lei Shan of the Thunder Clan. How should I address you?" Hearing this, the people of the Earth Spirit clan and Golden Armor sect were surprised. The Thunder Clan was very famous in this area. They were good at lightning and were fast. Their strength was terrifying. More importantly, the Thunder Clan seemed to be in an alliance with the Tianpeng clan. Therefore, his identity was not ordinary and surpassed them. Bei Yi hurriedly said, "We are from the Earth Spirit clan. These are my two sisters." The Golden Armor sect also introduced them. At the same time, he pointed at Lin Xian and the others and said, "This is Lin Gongzi and his friend. We met on the road." Lei Shan glanced at Lin Xian and the others and ignored them. He said, "Please come in," especially when he came to Bei Yi and said with a smile, "How should I address these two fairies?" "You are too polite. I am Xiao Xian, and this is my sister Xiao Yu. It must be your first time here. I will show you around." "Thank you." Bei Yi also bowed respectfully. If they could establish a good relationship with the Thunder Clan, it would be very good for their clan. The group of people walked forward. Along the way, many people greeted and bowed to Lei Shan. These people shocked Bei Yi and the others. It seemed like Lei Shan's identity and strength were much more terrifying than they had imagined. The two women from the Earth Spirit clan also had stars in their eyes. Seeing this, the Crimson Dragon sneered. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It was good that they weren't here for them. As for the other party's goal, he couldn't be bothered to care. He was waiting to see Morong Qingqing. At this moment, Lei Shan stopped and said, I know a garden full of celestial flowers. Many of them were already extinct in the outside world, never to be seen again. Ordinary people are not allowed to enter this garden. But don't worry, with me here, I can definitely bring you in. When he said this, his eyes shone brightly. The members of the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor Gate were also shocked. Although their identities were also extraordinary, they were still far from being comparable to the other party. On the other hand, Lin Xian and the others were expressionless. This made the members of the Thunder Clan frown. Did these people not know how powerful they were? But forget it, there was no need to care about these ants. Lei Shan's main goal was to get the two fairies. There was a courtyard in front of them, and there were rays flickering inside. The people outside couldn't enter at all. An entrance of the courtyard was guarded by 2 guards. Some people wanted to go in, but they were blocked and their faces turned ugly. Lei Shan arrived with his people and said a few words. The 2 guards quickly bowed and opened the door. Lei Shan and the others walked in. But when it came to Lin Xian and the others, they stopped. The 2 guards said, "The 3 of you can't enter." What did they mean? The toad was instantly angered. The Crimson Dragon also snorted coldly. Were they looking down on them? In front of them, the members of the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor Gate frowned when they saw this. The members of the Golden Armor Gate said, "This is also our companion. Brother Lin is our friend," Bei Yi said. But the 2 guards still didn't care. They could see that the people in front of them were all wearing precious sacred weapons. They could tell at a glance that their identities were extraordinary. But Lin Xian and the others were only wearing black robes and didn't even have a single weapon. People like them probably couldn't even take out saint artifacts, so what right did they have to enter the appreciation garden? Lei Shan stood in front of them, looking down at them from above. He sneered in his heart. He originally thought that these people looked calm and seemed to have some powerful trump card. But now it seemed that they were just a group of country bumpkins. The other party had never heard of his name. It was even possible that these people came from the mountains. They didn't know what top geniuses were like. They were lucky to have met Bei Yi and the others, so they could follow them in. Bei Yi looked at Lei Shan and said, "Young Master Lei, can you please help us?" The 2 women of the Earth Spirit clan also nodded at the side. Lei Shan said, "Don't worry, leave it to me." He said to the 2 guards, "Let them in." Only then did the 2 guards feel relieved. The stars in the eyes of the 2 women of the Kirin clan became even brighter. This was the peerless genius in their hearts, an unparalleled powerhouse. One sentence was enough to settle everything. In their eyes, there was only Lei Shan left. After entering, they were even more surprised because they found that the appreciation garden was indeed filled with spirit flowers. Some of them were things they had never seen before and had only heard of in legends. Also, there were some people in the garden, but they were much fewer than outside. The status of those who came here was terrifying. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. What was there to be proud of? Wasn't it just a lousy garden? If Ben Huang wanted to come in, they could stop him. The toad also gritted its teeth. That Thunder Clan was too arrogant, and it really wanted to slap him to death. Lin Xian smiled. "Don't worry, think about it. He can't even see through our identities, so he's just an ant. Do you have to be angry with an ant? If you're really angry, then use your new skills and take away the spirit vein under the garden." Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon was stunned for a moment, then laughed. "Good boy, I almost forgot. Next, I'll show you Ben Huang's skills." He sneered and began to walk around the garden. It seemed that he wanted to change the spirit vein under the ground. At this moment, the sound of a horn came from afar. At the same time, a voice was heard. The Phoenix clan had arrived. As soon as the voice was heard, countless people turned their heads. The people of the Phoenix clan had arrived. They knew that today's main character was the Phoenix clan, and this gathering was invited by the Tianpeng clan. Now that these people had finally arrived, they wondered if Morong Qingqing had come. Even Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He was a little excited. Chapter 5092. In the distance, endless rays of light appeared, and the phantom of a phoenix soared into the 9 heavens. A group of people appeared in the illusory image. One of them was a woman dressed in purple, like a fairy descending from the 9 heavens. "Look, it's Morong Qingqing," the surrounding people exclaimed. One after another, the crowd glanced ahead. The warriors were stunned. So beautiful. Even the fairies and princesses were shocked. It was as if they paled in comparison to the other party. Allure. Lin Xian took a deep breath. As expected, the other party is here too. The people of the Phoenix clan were invited in. At this moment, a group of people from the Heavenly Rock clan also walked over. The leader was a man with a powerful aura and a handsome face. He was like a god descending to the mortal world. "Flawless Bailey, it's actually him." Countless cries of surprise rang out. He was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock clan, an existence that could compete with the Emperor. He was the one who initiated this gathering. His goal was to pursue Morong Qingqing. Soon, these people were invited in. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian wanted to move, and the others also wanted to follow and take a look. At this moment, Lei Shan said, "Those fairies of the Phoenix clan, we don't have a chance, so don't think about it. However, I can introduce you to someone. He's a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. With him taking care of you, it'll be much easier for you to do things in the future." As soon as these words were said, Bei Yi and the others were moved. Indeed, a genius like Morong Qingqing could only look at them from afar. It would be more practical to get to know a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. Just you wait. After saying that, he turned around and left. At this moment, he realized that Lin Xian and the others didn't pay attention to him at all. They walked straight outside. This made Lei Shan frown. "Stop, kid. Don't you understand what I said? I told you to wait here." Lin Xian said, "I'm not interested in the genius you're talking about. Are you still going to block my way?" "Not interested. You don't have the final say here." Lei Shan felt that he had lost face. How could an ant dare to be so arrogant in front of him? He snorted coldly. A few people from the Thunder clan walked over and said, "Kid, I advise you to stay here obediently. Otherwise, I'll make you crawl out today." Bei Yi and the others left as well. They came over and said, "Brother Lin, just wait. It won't hurt to wait a little longer." Lin Xian said, "Brother Bei Yi, thank you for bringing me here. However, I do have some matters to attend to, so I won't accompany you." As he spoke, he led the Crimson Dragon, Toad, and the others forward again. "Let's see who dares to leave this place." Lei Shan shouted angrily as terrifying lightning burst out from his body. Those from the Lei Dong clan also pulled out their swords and sabers, preparing to attack. In the garden, the others frowned, but no one came to interfere. The expression of the guards outside changed, and they wanted to go in. At this time, they stopped and saw a few figures coming from outside the garden. "Take the lead and make a decision." They hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. That man nodded and walked in. "Who dares to make a move in our Tianpeng clan? Are you tired of living?" A cold voice sounded, causing the expressions of the people in the garden to change. The genius of the Tianpeng clan had arrived. Lei Shan smiled and jogged over. "Brother Fei, you're here." "Brother Fei, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to break the rules. It's just that some people are too reckless. I'm prepared to teach them a lesson." As he spoke, he looked at Bei Yi and the others. He waved his hand and said, hurry up and greet Brother Fei. Brother Fei is the genius of the Tianpeng clan. If you follow Brother Fei, I guarantee that you'll have a meteoric rise." Hearing this, Bei Yi, Jia Luo, and the others hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. The others also looked over, each of them with surprise and envy. However, there were 3 figures standing there, unmoved. Seeing this scene, Bei Yi and the others whispered, "Brother Lin, hurry up and greet young Master Fei." They were all anxious. Jia Luo and the others shook their heads and sighed. This Brother Lin was a bit impulsive. "I'm afraid he won't have a good ending." Lei Shan's face instantly darkened. "Brat, do you want to die? Young Master Fei is here, and you dare to not greet him. Do you believe that I won't break your legs and make you kneel here?" Lin Xian, on the other hand, laughed. "How arrogant! If I bow to him, would he dare to accept it?" Hearing this, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. Could it be that this brat wants to challenge the Tianpeng clan? Lei Shan also sneered. What a reckless brat! It seemed that he didn't need to do anything. The Tianpeng clan would destroy him. He looked at Brother Fei, but he was stunned, because he realized that Brother Fei wasn't angry. Instead, there was a trace of shock in his eyes. In the next moment, he walked forward. "Lin Gongzi, it's you. Why are you here?" Lei Shan was stunned. He knew by Li Fei. This was too inconceivable. Wasn't he just an ant? How could he know such a person? Bei Yi and the others were also stunned. If Lin Xian knew by Li Fei, would he still need them to lead the way? They didn't understand. Lin Xian looked forward and laughed. "Looks like you're getting more and more impressive." Bai Li Fei's expression changed. He could indeed be impressive in front of others, but he didn't dare to do so in front of Lin Xian. However, he was still shocked. "What are you doing here? Could it be that you want to ruin this gathering?" He knew that the person Morong Qingcheng liked was Lin Xian, and the #1 genius of their clan was pursuing Morong Qingcheng. He definitely had a purpose for appearing at this time. He turned and wanted to leave. Lin Xian patted his shoulder and said, "Long time no see. Why don't you have a drink with me?" As he spoke, a trace of cold light appeared in his eyes. The golden light carried the runes of reincarnation and instantly surged into the other party's mind. Bai Li Fei's expression changed. The other party dared to attack him. He shouted angrily and wanted to block with all his strength. However, he realized that his soul was instantly suppressed. A reincarnation mountain released a terrifying aura. Lin Xian's voice sounded in his mind. "Since you know my identity, I have to take some measures. Don't worry, as long as you don't want to die, I won't make things difficult for you. During this gathering, I will control you first. After the gathering, your soul will recover." After saying that, Lin Xian patted the man's shoulder again. Bai Li Fei was shocked. During this time, his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. But why was the gap between him and the other party getting bigger and bigger? He had lost to Lin Xian before, but now he couldn't even withstand a glance from Lin Xian. Then he realized that he couldn't control himself anymore. He couldn't even speak. As for Lin Xian's true identity, he couldn't report it to his clan. Lei Shan was also stunned. He didn't know why Bai Li Fei was so silent. However, Bai Li Fei's previous actions showed that he knew Lin Xian, so he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at Lei Shan with a smile on his face. "Didn't you want me to kneel down? Didn't you want to show off in front of me?" Lei Shan's expression became extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "What are you trying to do?" Lin Xian sneered and secretly controlled Bai Li Fei. Bai Li Fei received the order, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. He slapped Lei Shan's face. "Stupid thing! How dare you be so rude to Lin Gongzi? Do you want to die? Kneel down." As he spoke, he waved his hand and cut off Lei Shan's legs. Lei Shan fell to the ground and screamed crazily. He kept kowtowing. "Lin Gongzi, I was wrong. I didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please spare my life. The people from the Lei Dong clan were so scared that their scalps went numb. Bai Yi, Jia Luo, and the others were also shocked. This brother Lin with them actually had such an identity? It was too unbelievable. Chapter 5093. At this moment, the garden became lively again as a group of people walked in from outside. Leading the group was Bailey Wuck. Bailey Wuck said, "Ching Ching, I've specially built this garden for you. I've collected all the celestial flowers in the world, and one of them is very rare. It's called the Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. It's a rare flower that I've painstakingly obtained. I've specially made it for you to admire." The people of the Phoenix clan were also surprised. Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens? It was indeed a celestial flower in the legends. However, it hadn't appeared for tens of thousands of years. It seemed that Bailey Wuck was really considerate. The eyes of some of the people of the Phoenix clan flickered. If Murong Qingchen could marry Bailey Wuck, that would be great as well. They would be able to win a powerful ally for the Phoenix clan. However, at this moment, Qingfeng sighed. She knew that it was impossible for her to do that. It was because of that person's existence. Moreover, that person had already grown up and was crowned as a king. Qingcheng, follow me. The group of people entered the garden. When the people in the garden saw Murong Qingcheng, Bailey Wuck, the people of the Phoenix clan, and the Heavenly Rock clan, they were all surprised. They quickly went up to welcome them. Lin Xian was also surprised. He had wanted to meet them. He didn't expect them to come. Thinking of this, he walked forward. The people in front stopped. Bailey Wuck stood with his hands behind his back. He had a proud look on his face. Apart from Murong Qingcheng, he didn't seem to smile at anyone. He accepted the worship of these people. On the other side, Murong Qingcheng was also expressionless. However, when she saw a figure, she was stunned. In the next moment, her eyes turned red. Then, the corners of her mouth curled up into a beautiful smile. At this moment, everyone was stunned. It was as if the world had lost its brilliance. Even the celestial flowers in the garden couldn't be compared to her smile. Even Bailey Wuck, who was standing on the side, was startled. He had never seen Murong Qingchen reveal such a sweet smile. Who was it because of? It was definitely not because of any genius. It should be because of the celestial flowers in the garden. Thinking of this, he also smiled. It seemed that the garden that he had carefully prepared this time had won her favor. He might be able to succeed in one fell swoop. However, at this time he was stunned because he found that the people in front of him had stopped at a certain distance and were worshipping it. However, there was only one person who continued to stride towards him. His brows furrowed tightly. Who was so rude? Was he courting death? The others were also stunned and raised their heads to look ahead. What's going on? Who was this kid? What was he trying to do? Lei Shan and the others were stunned as well. Their faces turned ugly. Even though he was extremely arrogant earlier, before by Li Fei, he was like a lackey, much less before Wuck. The other party could probably kill him with a single glance, but now there was actually someone who dared to challenge Flawless Bailey. He could not believe it. Stop! At this moment, someone from the Heavenly Rock clan shouted angrily. However, Lin Xian did not stop at all. They were enraged. They drew their swords and sabers and were about to attack. Lin Xian shouted, "I finally meet you." Murong Qingcheng also walked out and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. Brother Xian. This scene stunned everyone, and even their eyeballs fell to the ground. What the heavens, what was going on? The legendary phoenix prodigy, Murong Qingcheng, who was incomparably cold, did not even care about Flawless Bailey's pursuit. It made people think that she would only marry an emperor. But now, she actually threw herself into the arms of an unfamiliar young man. What was going on? Who was this young man? Could it be that he was an emperor from a great emperor's family? Flawless Bailey was also stunned. He could not believe that the goddess he had pursued for a long time had already been obtained by someone else. He felt like he was going crazy from anger. Moreover, this person was so unfamiliar. He did not feel any terrifying aura from him. It was even more impossible for him to be an emperor. That was because he had seen the portraits of those emperors. He always paid attention to their movements. There was definitely no such person. But why? Damn it! With a roar, heaven and earth shook. Many people's blood boiled, and they vomited blood. Murong Qingqing also raised her head. She saw flawless Bailey staring at Lin Xian with a pair of cold eyes. She immediately blocked in front of Lin Xian. She shouted coldly, "Flawless Bailey, what are you doing?" "Who is he?" Bailey Wujue asked coldly. His voice was abnormally cold, like 10,000-year-old ice. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were stunned. Qing Feng wanted to say something, but she was controlled by Lin Xian's eyes. Lin Xian's voice rang out, "During this time I'll control you." After saying that, Qing Feng felt that her soul was out of control. She could not say a single word. Lin Xian walked out and said, "My name is Lin Xian. Qingqing is my woman." When these words came out, everyone went crazy. Murong Qingqing's man. Lin Xian. Damn it, who is this guy? How come I've never heard of him? Which mountain did he run out from? Why would Murong Qingqing like him? Angry shouts rang out one after another. Bailey Wujue did not dare to believe it. He roared, "Qingqing, tell me this is not real." Murong Qingqing shook her head. "This is real. I already told you I have a husband, but you didn't believe me." After saying that, she pulled Lin Xian's hand and said, "Brother Xian, let's go." The two of them ignored those people's gazes and walked out. At this time, Bailey Wuxuan shouted angrily, "Damn it, I carefully prepared the immortal flower for you, but you ignored it. What do you think I am?" Murong Qingqing stopped and said, "I never asked you to do anything. It's just your wishful thinking." Lin Xian also laughed. "Oh, Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. Let me see, is it really the legendary Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens? You can't make it. I think you're just a liar. Someone like you dares to call yourself the #1 genius?" After saying that, he gave the Crimson Dragon a look. The Crimson Dragon sneered twice, indicating that it understood. Bailey Wuck was angry. Damn it, not only did the other party take away the goddess he liked, but he even dared to challenge him. "Stupid ant, what do you know?" The people of the Tianpeng race also roared crazily. "Today I'll open your eyes. I'll let you see what a real immortal flower is." As they spoke, they sent out a law. 10,000 flowers bloomed. Among the 10,000 flowers, the phantom of a phoenix soared into the sky. The phoenix's cry swept through the 9 heavens. Countless people looked up. Heavens, it really was the Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. The people of the Tianpeng race were proud. Did you see that? This was it. Before they could finish speaking, they were stunned, because they realized that something unbelievable had happened in front of them. The surrounding people were even more shocked and did not dare to believe it. Chapter 5094. They discovered that the legendary blooming of 10,000 flowers and Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens were quickly disappearing. They even withered. What was going on? The people of the Tianpeng clan were all stunned. Why did this happen? These thoughts might have been carefully prepared by them, and they had spent endless effort to find them. Some of them had already disappeared outside, especially the most important Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. At this moment, they were also withered. Damn it, they wanted to create a formation to protect it, but it was useless. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he sneered. "What Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens? It was just an illusion. Do you think you can fool everyone in the world?" After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand, and all the flowers turned into ashes and disappeared. "Let's go." He then left with Murong Qingqing and the other two. Countless people were stunned. Was this an illusion? However, the people of the Phoenix clan were shocked. There was no lack of experts among them, so they naturally knew that it couldn't be an illusion. How did the other party do it? The garden was protected by an extremely terrifying array formation. The other party was able to do it without a sound. This method was really amazing. The people of the Tianpeng clan shouted angrily and grabbed that kid. Bailey Wuck snorted coldly. No one had ever dared to challenge him. No one dared to slap his face in public. Now that this person had done it, he wouldn't let him go. However, when he looked in front of him, he realized that the other party had already disappeared without a trace. Damn it, find him for me. They searched frantically. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had already left through the spatial power of the Void Beast. They came to the other side. The Toad and the Crimson Dragon were guarding. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing stood on the mountain peak, snuggling together and telling each other their experiences. Brother Xian, congratulations, you've finally been crowned. Murong Qingqing raised his head and said with a smile. Lin Xian also said, the coronation wasn't the end. At least they had to kill the Dragon Prince. You have to prepare well for this. As the Emperor's son and a member of the dragon race, the Dragon Prince's trump cards were too powerful. It would not be easy to kill him. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian said, don't worry, it's already in the plan. But this time, other than cultivation, I have more important things to do. What is it? Murong Qingqing was surprised. Lin Xian replied, of course it's to propose marriage to the Phoenix clan. When I'm not around, there are always some flies trying to get you. I'm here to tell the world that you're my woman. Murong Qingqing's face blushed immediately after hearing his words. She nodded obediently. However, he seemed to have thought of something. The Phoenix race seemed to think highly of the Tianpeng race, so they joined hands to carry out this matter. Older brother Xian, you have to be careful if you want to go to the Phoenix clan. Lin Xian said that it was fine. By the way, how did you resolve your grudge with the Phoenix race? Didn't they want to kill you and take your bloodline? Murong Qingqing said, it's a long story. The Jade Lake, Kunlun, and even the Queen Mother of the West worked together to form an alliance with the Phoenix race. The two sides formed an alliance. When necessary, the Jade Lake would use the Desolate Tower to help. Only then did the Phoenix race agree. Moreover, the Phoenix race also has a bloodline. The Supreme Elder accepted me as his disciple. Lin Xian understood after hearing this. In the following days, the two of them stayed together and were very happy. Outside, endless winds and clouds were stirring up. The proud daughter of the Phoenix race, Murong Qingqing, actually left with another man at the Tianpeng race's gathering. It directly slapped young Master Wuck's face. How could the Tianpeng race let it go? When this matter spread, countless people were in an uproar. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were stunned, and they all began to investigate. Who was the other party? However, there was no trace of the other party's background. They only knew that the other party seemed to be called Lin Xian. The people of the Phoenix race frowned. They had never heard of this name. Damn it, could it be an old friend of Qingqing's? Did he come from the origin planet? Humph, no matter where he came from, he's just an ant. How could he win against the genius of the Phoenix race? The Phoenix race was very dissatisfied. They were also frantically searching. However, they still could not find the two people. Just as they were going crazy, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing walked out of the real world. Lin Xian said, let's go to the Phoenix race. The two of them flew toward the Phoenix race. When they arrived, the people of the Phoenix race were also shocked. Qingqing, are you okay? Are you hurt? Did this brat threaten you? Men, take him down. The elder of the Phoenix race shouted angrily. However, Murong Qingqing said, don't do anything to him. He's my husband. I'm not threatened. The people of the Phoenix race were stunned. Husband? Damn it. What the hell is going on? Men, take Qingqing down to rest. The elder waved his hand and stared at Lin Xian. Morong Qingqing said, I can rest, but you're not allowed to hurt her. Otherwise, don't blame me for being hostile. Lin Xian looked at Qingqing and smiled. Don't worry, they can't hurt me. Morong Qingqing nodded and left with the people of the Phoenix race. She knew how much of a commotion her actions had caused. Therefore, she had to give the Phoenix race an explanation. The remaining people were furious after hearing this. The other party was too arrogant. They couldn't hurt him. Cold gazes were fixed on Lin Xian. Lin Xian was fearless. The toad and the crimson dragon were even more arrogant. The crimson dragon snorted. Was this how the Phoenix race treated their guests? Shouldn't they invite them in? The people of the Phoenix race gritted their teeth. They couldn't wait to kill this guy. Inviting him in for tea? What a joke. However, the elder of the Phoenix race frowned. The situation here had attracted the attention of countless people. He had no choice but to snort and say, Come in. He led the way and brought Lin Xian and the other two to a large hall. Then he left. There were only Lin Xian and the other two in the hall. There were countless guards outside, obviously to prevent them from escaping. After about half a day, a middle-aged man walked over. His face was dark as water. He said coldly, You're Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at him, stood up and nodded. The middle-aged man said and left, disappearing in front of Qingqing. Lin Xian said, What if I choose not to? The middle-aged man was stunned. He didn't expect this guy to dare to challenge his clan. He smiled. Young man, are you not clear about the situation? Do you know where this is? This is the Phoenix race, the great emperor's clan. No one can behave atrociously here. I advise you to restrain yourself. The great emperor's clan is an overlord in the universe. Who dares to behave atrociously here? They will be suppressed. Therefore, the middle-aged man had unlimited confidence. In his opinion, Lin Xian would soon submit in fear or even kneel down. Chapter 5095. However, the middle-aged man was destined to be disappointed. Lin Xian didn't care about such a threat at all. He said indifferently, I'm just here to tell you that Qingqing is my woman. So, if you dare to let her marry another family, don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing this, the middle-aged man went crazy. Was Lin Xian threatening him? He didn't dare to believe that no one had ever dared to threaten him. An ant dared to behave atrociously in the family of the arch. Kid, what right do you have to say such words? What family are you from? What's your background? Not to mention your family. Are you a top genius yourself? Can you compete with Bailey Wuck? Can you compete with the Arch? You can't do anything. What right do you have to say that Morong Qingqing is your woman? Humph. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. You're underestimating me too much. You don't know my strength at all. I'm alone now. I can't do anything to the entire Phoenix clan. However, it's impossible for you to kill me. As for the geniuses of the other families, Bailey Wuck, who you think highly of, is just SOSO in my eyes. I've never been afraid of anyone in the younger generation. Even the Arch is only on equal footing with me. Lin Xian's voice was domineering. The middle-aged man was stunned after hearing this. Lin Xian wasn't afraid of the Arch? What kind of joke was this? He snorted coldly and said, Good boy, if you really have the strength, the Phoenix clan won't reject you. How about this? In half a month's time, the Phoenix clan will hold a banquet. At that time, we'll invite all the geniuses, and even Bailey Wuck. You can compete. If you can win, then we'll acknowledge your relationship with Qingqing. Otherwise, please disappear immediately and never appear again. In his opinion, Lin Xian was just boasting. When it came to competing in strength, Lin Xian definitely wouldn't dare to make a move. Lin Xian smiled after hearing this. All right, I'll wait. Half a month, right? Go ahead and call people. Even if you call the Cheelan Sun and the Dragon Prince, I'm still not afraid." The middle-aged man snorted coldly and left. If he stayed any longer, he would probably go crazy from anger. The guards outside turned cold when they heard that. Humph! What a fool! He probably doesn't know how terrifying the Crown Prince is. Lin Xian raised his head to look at the sky. So what if the Phoenix race has them? How dare he block his path? Half a month later, he would let these people know what it meant to be a frog at the bottom of a well. The news quickly spread out. Someone came to the Phoenix clan wanting to marry Morong Qingqing. It was as if a storm had been set off, sweeping through the entire Hung continent. All of a sudden, countless geniuses gathered. When the heavenly rock races people heard this, their faces turned even colder. Flawless 100 Miles's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had already received news about the Phoenix clan. There would be a gathering half a month later, and he would attend it personally. Lin Xian, right? No matter what your identity is, half a month from now will be the day you die. The Phoenix clan was also greatly surprised by the changes in the outside world. They really wanted to see what kind of person this Lin Xian was to be able to make Morong Qingqing so willingly. A few women came to the main hall where Lin Xian lived. These people looked noble, and their eyes were filled with arrogance. They raised their chins and looked down on everything. After Morong Qingqing came, she took away a lot of our resources. She has the Supreme Elder behind her, so we can't touch her. However, we have to take a good look at this little man of hers. The leader of the women said coldly. The others laughed when they heard that. Sister Yi, don't worry. We know what to do. The few of them sneered. They said to the guards, open the door. The guards opened the door of the main hall, and the group of people walked in. The main hall was very empty. There was no one in sight. The geniuses who came to the Phoenix clan frowned. There was no one here. Could it be that the kid had already left? Humph, what a coward. I think he must have run away after hearing the news. Otherwise, why would he dare to go against flawless 100 Miles? Moreover, he still has to accept the challenge of the world. It seemed that Morong Qingqing was really blind this time. Cold laughter rang out one after another. However, at this moment, a voice came from the void. Take back what you said just now, or bear the consequences. Who's that? The geniuses of the Phoenix clan suddenly turned their heads. They saw a figure standing behind them. He was dressed in a black robe and had a cold expression on his face. In particular, his eyes were shining with an extremely cold light. Who are you, damn kid? They shouted coldly. When did he appear? Why didn't they notice him at all? Lin Xian snorted coldly. You came to find me, but you don't even know who I am? What? You're Lin Xian? Those people were surprised. They looked carefully. Yi, who was walking at the front, sized up Lin Xian and sneered. He's handsome, but what's the use of that? You'll turn into a pile of bones in half a month's time. She sneered, and the others also laughed smugly. They could tell that the other party didn't have any terrifying information or bloodline. He wasn't even a great sage, so how could he challenge the world? Lin Xian said coldly. I said, take back what you said just now and apologize. Can't you hear me? Yi snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? How dare you? Before she could finish speaking, she was slapped across the face and her entire body flew out. His handsome face was also in tatters. She roared crazily. How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you. She rushed over angrily. At this moment, Lin Xian's figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind her. He grabbed her neck with his hands. Believe it or not, I can send you to hell in a second. Yi was so scared that her body turned cold. She realized that she couldn't escape at all. It was too terrifying. His hands were like the hands of a god that could control her life. The geniuses of the Phoenix clan around her were even more terrified. They knew how powerful Sister Yi was. She was very powerful, but she was suppressed in an instant. How terrifying was this Lin Xian? Could it be that he really had heaven-defying combat power? Another person said, "I'm warning you, don't do anything. This is the territory of the Phoenix clan. If you hurt Sister Yi, you're dead meat. Is that so? Are you threatening me?" Lin Xian exerted force in his palm. Yi screamed crazily, "No, don't do anything to me. Lin Gongzi, I was wrong. I apologize to you. I take back what I said just now. I shouldn't have said that to you. And I shouldn't have said that to Sister Qingqing. I won't dare to do it again." She apologized. At the same time, she shouted angrily, "What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up and apologize to me." The surrounding people didn't dare to resist and apologized one after another. Their attitude was completely different from before. Then, Yi said carefully, "Lin Gongzi, can you let me go?" Chapter 5096. Lin Xian waved his hand and said coldly, "Scram, don't let me see you again." Yi was thrown out. She turned around and roared crazily, "Men, suppress him for me." She had already thought about it. As soon as she came out, she would order the experts to completely suppress him. The guards outside rushed in when they heard this. "Princess Yi, what's the matter?" Yi said he injured me. "Suppress him. I want to kill him." The Phoenix guards were stunned. "Princess Yi, please don't make things difficult for us. You're not injured. How is that possible?" Yi was shocked. Her companions also said, "Are you blind?" You didn't see Sister Yi's face. Before they finished speaking, they were also stunned. At this moment, Yi didn't look injured at all. The saint blood in the void also disappeared. How is that possible? Could it be that this kid secretly got rid of it? They were shocked. The Phoenix guards carefully checked and then said, "Princess Yi, we didn't find any traces of fighting." With that, they retreated and left. Yi shouted angrily, "Impossible! Could it be that I was dreaming just now?" Lin Xian sneered. A trace of cold light appeared in his eyes, and an extremely terrifying soul power pressed down. Yi and the other scalps went numb. They instantly understood. Illusion. Just now, they were under the illusion. When did he get hit? Perhaps they were under the illusion from the moment they entered the main hall. And they didn't know. This meant that when they were under the illusion, the other party had 10,000 chances to destroy their souls. Thinking of this, they broke out in cold sweat. "Let's go." These people didn't dare to stay here anymore. They turned around and left. At the same time, they swore that they would never return to this place in their lives, let alone provoke the other party. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The Phoenix clan also became incomparably lively. The patriarch of the Phoenix clan personally appeared. It was a woman as high and mighty as a queen. She sat in the main hall in the clouds. Beside her sat a man with an extraordinary appearance. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. He was the patriarch of the Heavenly Rock clan. It seemed like there were quite a number of geniuses here. The Phoenix clan leader nodded. Once the news spread out, all the geniuses on the Yuhun continent would be rushing here. Unless there were special matters that prevented them from coming, the others should be arriving soon. However, no matter how many of them came over, they would not be able to match up to Flawless 100 Miles. The moment these words were spoken, the Heavenly Rock race leader started laughing loudly. "Phoenix race leader, you think too highly of Wuk." There was still a long way to go before he became flawless. However, the Phoenix clan leader shook her head. "I have high hopes for his future." If Ju was not the empress and had not yet become a great emperor, we would not have dared to let her get married. Otherwise, I would have betrothed Jiu'er to Wuk. However, Murong Qingqing was not bad either. She possessed the bloodline of the Rainbow Phoenix and was extremely beautiful. More importantly, flawless like Qingqing. Therefore, if the two of them could get married, it would be the best thing for our two families. The Heavenly Rock Races. Race head nodded. If it really works, I'll get Wuk to block a martial emperor. He should be able to do it. The two of them discussed here. It seemed that they did not treat Lin Xian's existence as a threat at all. Lin Xian was no longer restricted. He finally met Morong Qingqing again. The two of them were still guarding the Phoenix race, attracting a lot of attention. Early in the morning, news came that the Phoenix race's genius wanted to hold a banquet to meet Lin Xian. Lin Xian asked, "Is there an empress from your Phoenix race?" Morong Qingqing said, "You're talking about Fengjiu, right? She's in seclusion and usually won't come out." Lin Xian said, "Then I have no reason to go. Your husband is someone who has been conferred the title of king. The people I interact with are people like the Dragon Prince and the Kuanpeng Sun. The others are not qualified to invite me." Morong Qingqing laughed after hearing his words. She rolled her eyes at him and thought, "You." Although she seemed to be complaining, her eyes were filled with happiness. Lin Xian smiled and said, "All right, I'll give you face and make a trip there." In the evening, Lin Xian still attended the banquet. He realized that there were many people, not only the Phoenix race's geniuses. The geniuses from the other clans and sects were also there. They really wanted to know who Lin Xian was. One had to know that Morong Qingqing had looked down on Bailey Wuk previously. Yi and the others were also sitting in the hall in front of them. At this moment, it was extremely quiet. The surrounding people were puzzled. Yi and Qingqing's relationship was not good before. Now that they knew about this, they would at least mock and ridicule them. They might even come out to slap them in the face. But they did not. Yi and the others became very quiet, which made them puzzled. Could it be that these people had some big tricks up their sleeves? After Morong Qingqing and Lin Xian arrived, Qingqing introduced the geniuses of the Phoenix race to Lin Xian. When she came to Yi, Qingqing said, "This is Sister Yi." She explained expressionlessly. Lin Xian smiled. "Oh, Sister Yi." At this moment, Yi raised her head. When she saw Lin Xian's gaze, she was so frightened that her body trembled. She quickly lowered her head and said, "I'm not feeling well, so I'll leave first." After saying that, she ran away like a rabbit. It was not only her. The few people around her also found excuses to leave. This surprised everyone. Morong Qingqing was also puzzled. It seemed that the other party was afraid of something. She looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said through voice transmission, "When you weren't around, they came to find trouble with me. I taught them a lesson, so they were probably scared." Morong Qingqing had a strange expression after hearing that. No wonder. But it was good too. This Yi had indeed often found trouble with her. She probably would not dare to do it again in the future. Apart from that, there were also geniuses from the Thunder Clan and the Heavenly Rock Clan. Lin Xian looked at those people and nodded slightly as a greeting. This made the faces of those two clans turn ugly. They thought that Lin Xian was too arrogant. At this moment, someone said coldly, "Lin Gongzi must have something extraordinary to be able to win the heart of the fatally beautiful fairy. Why don't you show it to us?" "That's right. I've just refined a treasure saber recently. Why don't I spar with Lin Gongzi?" Voices sounded one after another. These people were all staring at Lin Xian. It seemed that they wanted to make a move in advance today. On the Phoenix clan's side, apart from Yi, there were many people who had conflicts with Morong Qingqing. After all, Morong Qingqing had joined the Phoenix clan halfway, and due to her mystical bloodline, she directly occupied a large portion of the resources. This caused the resources of the Phoenix clan's geniuses to decrease significantly. How could these geniuses be willing to accept this? Therefore, they naturally hated Morong Qingqing. Now that they had the chance, they wanted to slap her in the face. Chapter 5097. Lin Xian looked at them and said coldly, "I advise you not to do this." "Why?" Are you afraid? The Phoenix clan snorted. Lin Xian sneered. I'm afraid you'll go to hell, the surrounding people exclaimed. This brat is too arrogant. The Phoenix clan was completely enraged. Brat, do you know what you're saying? Do you know where you are? Our great Emperor clan is not something you can challenge. However, Lin Xian sat down beside Morong Qingqing. Seeing this, the Heavenly Rock clan was instantly enraged. Brat, don't you understand? Try and see if my treasured blade is sharp. Similarly, experts from the Thunder clan walked out as well. Even the Phoenix clan also sent out experts. 3 experts walked out and stared at Lin Xian, their eyes emitting a terrifying radiance. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they shook their heads and sighed. They felt that Lin Xian was dead meat. Are you sure you want to fight? Since that's the case, I'll do as you wish. Lin Xian stood up. He first looked at the man from the Thunder clan, his eyes emitting a terrifying radiance. The man's soul screamed as if it was being torn apart. Blood flowed from his 7 orifices as he knelt on the ground. What's going on? The surrounding people were stunned. It's an eye technique, someone shouted angrily. The Thunder clan was shocked. Damn it, does this brat really dare to fight? One had to know that this was the Phoenix clan. Where did he get his courage from? Damn brat, how dare you hurt my soul? The Thunder clan expert shouted angrily. He turned into a bolt of lightning and dashed over. However, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's sword. His body was split into 2. Lin Xian said coldly, Do you think an ant like you has the right to fight with me? Then Lin Xian turned around and looked at the Heavenly Rock clan. His eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. The surrounding people were shocked. This brat is too strong. Morong Qingqing shook his head and sighed. Lin Xian had already been crowned king. How could these people challenge him? The people of the Tianpeng race also had gloomy expressions. Xian said, Didn't you want to test the sharpness of the sword? Make your move. After saying that, he punched out. The 6 Paths fist was indomitable. The man from the Tianpeng race shouted angrily. With a wave of his hand, a battle saber appeared and slashed forward. He wanted to shatter his opponent's fist. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. This kid is too arrogant. That battle blade is clearly an extremely terrifying sacred artifact. My guess is that his fist will be split in half. That's for sure. He's probably a soul expert, and he's good at catching people off guard. However, it would be foolish to try to compete with his physique. These people sneered. However, they were soon stunned. The treasured saber in front of him was blasted into 2 halves, while Lin Xian's fist was unscathed. Impossible. The experts of the Tianpeng race roared in fear. Especially the expert who attacked, he was even more dumbfounded. This battle saber was meticulously refined by him. It was extremely terrifying. Even a great sage wouldn't be able to shatter it. However, it was broken by a single punch from the other party. How terrifying was his strength! Lin Xian said coldly, It seems that your battle saber isn't that great. I wonder how strong you are. As he spoke, the 6 Paths fist struck out again. The people of the Tianpeng race were terrified. That person shouted angrily, Tianpeng seal! He formed a seal with his palms and formed a huge seal that pressed down. It collided with the 6 Paths fist. It was as if he was struck by lightning. He flew backward and cracks appeared on his body. With a boom, he turned into a bloody mist. His soul wanted to escape, but it was slapped to the ground by Lin Xian. Lin Xian stepped on the other party's soul with 1 foot and said coldly, Ant, who gave you the courage to challenge me? That person cried out miserably. The people of the Tianpeng race roared crazily, Damn brat, you dare? Lin Xian snorted coldly and stepped on the other party's body that had just reformed. He said, Why wouldn't I dare? The people of the Phoenix race were furious. The eyes of the man from the phoenix race were filled with cold, killing intent. He said coldly, "Stop immediately and apologize." Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly, "Who do you think you are? How dare you order me around? Previously, I didn't attack you because I was giving Qingqing face. Now, if you attack me, I can guarantee that you will end up like them." You. The man was so angry that his body trembled. The people of the phoenix race were also gnashing their teeth. However, they were really frightened by Lin Xian. For a moment, no one attacked. On the other hand, the people of the Tianpeng race were furious. They all looked at Flawless Bailey. Flawless Bailey's face was gloomy, but he had no intention of attacking. His opponent was only the crown prince. The person in front of him was not qualified. "Old servant, save me!" The injured genius roared crazily. An old man walked out of the void and slapped towards Lin Xian. "You dare to attack my young master? Go to hell!" His palm turned into a sharp claw that tore apart heaven and earth. Therefore, this claw could even tear apart a dragon, let alone a human. Countless people were shocked. Was an expert of the older generation going to attack? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He roared and struck out with his sword. It turned into a dragon's shadow and rushed forward. "Tianpeng, slain dragon. Let's see if you have the ability today." This sword split heaven and earth, and the old man's sharp claw was shattered. He was also split in half. Saint blood scattered between heaven and earth. The surrounding people were shocked. What a terrifying sword chi! Why did this guy have the aura of the Tao of Dragons? Could it be that he was from the dragon race? Even the people of the phoenix race were stunned. If Lin Xian was from the dragon race, then the situation was different. The people of the Tianpeng race were even more upset. They had a grudge with the dragon race. The Tianpeng race was only SOSO. None of them could fight. As soon as these words were said, the people of the Tianpeng race could not hold it in any more. Even Flawless Bailey's eyes burst out with a cold light. He stood up. At this moment, the elders of the phoenix race walked over. The battle here naturally alarmed them. After they came over, they said, "Everyone, if you want to compete tomorrow, today is not the time." Lin Xian shrugged. He did not care when the battle was. Flawless Bailey stared at Lin Xian for a long time before retracting his gaze. "Then I'll let you live for one more day." This banquet ended early. When Lin Xian left, the surrounding people were incomparably terrified. No one dared to underestimate him anymore. Although it was just a simple exchange, the strength Lin Xian displayed showed that he was a top-notch expert. They also knew that Murong Qingqing would not choose an ant for no reason. Yi and the others were shocked. Fortunately, they had left early. Otherwise, they would have been unlucky. The people of the phoenix race were shocked. Many people studied that battle and found that Lin Xian had a powerful soul, a terrifying physique, terrifying strength, and sharp sword chi. This person was not ordinary. No wonder he could become Murong Qingqing's man. Chapter 5098. However, there were also people who shook their heads and sneered because they knew that the person who could compete with Lin Xian was even more extraordinary. That was Bailey Wuck. He was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock race. In fact, other than Bailey Wuck, there were a few other top geniuses who were pursuing Murong Qingqing. Perhaps they would all appear tomorrow. At that time, it would be a true battle between two giants. It was still unknown whether Lin Xian could resist them. On the other side, Murong Qingqing also said, "You have to be careful of Bailey Wuck tomorrow. He does indeed have the combat strength of an emperor. Moreover, the Heavenly Rock race's combat strength is also very strong." Lin Xian nodded after hearing that. "It's fine." Murong Qingqing thought about it and said that other than him, there might be a few more people who would come. Those people were also very strong. Some of them could even use Emperor Divine powers. Lin Xian smiled. Qingqing, you're still so charming. Murong Qingqing blushed and snuggled up to Lin Xian. No matter how strong they are, they can't compare to one of your fingers. Last night, the news had spread and countless people were shocked. The younger generation and even the older generation were talking about it. Could it be that another young emperor had risen? Someone exclaimed. Someone sneered. Impossible, he's not qualified. Everyone was excited and looked forward to the dawn. They wanted to see the battle between two giants. When the leader of the Phoenix race heard the news, he narrowed his eyes. Oh, he's not a useless person, but a top genius? That was interesting. However, he still couldn't be compared to Bailey Wuck. He still didn't take Lin Xian seriously. The people of the Thunder Race were furious. Their genius had been severely injured. However, they didn't do anything. Instead, they placed their hopes on the Heavenly Rock Race. The people of the Heavenly Rock Race roared. This time, they had lost a lot of face. They were all waiting. Tomorrow, Bailey Wuck would make his move. The next day, at dawn, the banquet finally began. Everyone came in excitedly and presented their congratulatory gifts. Those who could come were all people with extraordinary statuses. They were either from the clan of the ancients, great sects, or peerless experts. When Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing appeared, they attracted a lot of attention. Their eyes were red as they looked at each other. They were extremely envious. The members of the Phoenix clan, on the other hand, looked somewhat gloomy. The Phoenix clan leader also came. She sat high up in the sky and looked down like a queen. Lin Xian felt immense pressure, but he was not afraid. Circulating the sword qi in his body, Lin Xian calmly walked forward. Greetings to the Phoenix clan leader. Greetings to the various seniors. Lin Xian was neither sad nor sad as he bowed. You're Lin Xian. The Phoenix clan leader said coldly as a terrifying bloodline aura burst forth. At this moment, the entire world froze, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. They felt their bodies tremble, as if Lin Xian could kill them with a single glance. The void around Lin Xian kept shattering. However, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up as he ignored the terrifying power. He's right, it's me. The Phoenix clan leader was shocked. Even a top genius would not be able to withstand the pressure that she had just exerted. In her opinion, Lin Xian might just kneel down. That way, she could give him a warning. However, she realized that Lin Xian was not affected at all. She was surprised. Could it be that this young man had some kind of treasure on him? That would be the only way he could withstand her pressure. On the other side, the Heavenly Rock clan leader's face was also cold. However, he did not say anything. Instead, he secretly gave a look. The members of the Heavenly Rock clan moved quickly. Not long after, a group of people with murderous auras arrived. The leader was a middle-aged man. Beside him was a pale-faced young man who was the previous owner of the saber. He was beaten up by Lin Xian and was seriously injured. At this moment, when he saw Lin Xian, his body trembled. However, a sharp killing intent appeared in his eyes. With his father around, he would take revenge this time. After these people arrived, the middle-aged man in front of them shouted. Bailey Ba shouted coldly, "You are the one who attacked and severely injured my son. Who are you? How dare you question me?" Lin Xian's cold shout was like a clap of thunder. It gave Bailey Ba fright. The surrounding people were also shocked. This guy was so domineering. Bailey Ba was stunned. When he came back to his senses, he shouted coldly, "Why can't I question you? Just tell me what kind of background you have." Lin Xian said, "I'm Qingqing's husband. Qingqing is a member of the Phoenix clan. I'm here to return home." "What's with your attitude? Is this how you treat your master?" When the members of the Phoenix clan heard this, their noses became crooked. Despicable brat, when did we admit it? Lin Xian looked at Bailey Ba and said coldly, "Your son fought with me with a treasured saber." "I fought with him barehanded. He wasn't strong enough and was seriously injured. How dare you come here? Is the Heavenly Rock clan all so despicable? If that's the case, it's really disappointing. Brat, it's useless to say more. Take this. If you don't die, this matter will be over. Bailey Ba snorted coldly. An extremely terrifying aura was emitted from his body. The surrounding people's expressions changed. This Bailey Ba was a strong warrior of the middle generation. It was indeed shameless to bully the younger generation. However, no one said anything. Many people even wanted to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself. Murong Qingqing's expression changed. She wanted to say something, but was stopped by the members of the Phoenix clan. Lin Gongzi, I think this is fair. Why don't you take this blow? Don't worry, you won't die here. The surrounding people's scalps went numb. They knew that although Lin Xian wouldn't die, he might be seriously injured. He wouldn't be able to recover within 100 years. He might even be crippled. One blow to end the grudge? Lin Xian shook his head. Only if you take one of my blows. All right, no problem. We'll each take one blow. Then we won't pursue the matter. Bailey Ba's eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. Although Lin Xian had injured his son and an old servant, so what? My strength isn't comparable to anyone else's. Young man, make your move. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Bailey Ba stood there and sneered. Lin Xian nodded. All right, I won't hold back then. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward, using the finger as a sword. Azura sword technique. This was an extremely terrifying the arch-theurgy, the sword of killing. The sword light flashed, and everyone felt a chill in their souls. Bailey Ba's expression changed. Oh no! He felt that his life was in danger. He knew that he had been careless. He didn't expect his opponent to have such an ultimate technique. He roared and attacked with all his might. The illusion of a heavenly rock appeared on his body. Its wings turned into heavenly blades and slashed forward. Go to hell! The sword chi and the blade light collided and shattered the sky. Puff! Blood splattered in the sky. The power in the sky disappeared. A figure fell to the ground. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.